well, it was this episode was also quite the turning point for a lot of fans because I mentioned this also during camp. Beforehand, before this third season, whenever there was a Star Trek convention or whatnot, you'd have the fans interacting and you'd have the difference of opinion. A lot of people saying they don't like the bald captain, they don't like this new show. It's Star Trek is Kirk. But once this episode aired, one of the writers remembered that at the next convention he went to, it was all anyone was talking about. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was asking, oh my God, is the captain going to be okay? Is he going to come back? What's going to happen? And again, this cliffhanger was like it is a monumental cliffhanger, not just in Star Trek, but television.
Yeah,
like, this is a big one, and I'm so happy it didn't get spoiled for you because it got spoiled for me. Like I first heard about this spoiler, ironically enough, through Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, and because little Karibo like did a previously on Yu-Gi-Oh! And then he just parodied that using the actual footage and everything. So that was a nice way to just it's oh, I know what's gonna happen, kinda. Thanks, little Karibo. But yeah. I know that the guys were saying oh, you have to wait a week to see how it to watch the second part, but I don't care when you watch it. Watch it tomorrow if you want.
Oh, I'm going to. There is no damn way I can do what you people did and wait. There's no way. I can't. You can't expect me to. This is torture.
You have the technology.
If I may record back to Travis's point about how all the fans back then didn't want a bald captain. I'm like, man, they got double dose of that in TNG and DS9.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not until season.
Oh, they complain about him too.
True.
I don't know why, but I just picture Patrick Stewart just losing his mind over the uniform, just tearing it off at the end of a set, just this thing.
I wouldn't say tear it off. I wouldn't say tear it off, but he was one of the first out of it when they were done shooting.
He actually
naturally those prosthetics are not comfortable.
If you go and watch Captain on the Bridge,
casual uniform that he wears now and then.
If no one can hear me,
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right. Go watch Captains on the Bridge documentary. It's one of the newest ones. It goes into a lot of details about the Next Generation and a couple of the other Star Trek shows. The shenanigans of season 1 to season 2 and why there was a fundamental change of how the show. Chaos on the Bridge. I thought it was Captains on the Bridge. Is Chaos on the Bridge?
Chaos on the Bridge is the one about the Next Generation's first couple seasons and the behind-the-scenes chaos that happened. The Captains on the Bridge, I think, is just all 5 captains.
Wasn't that one with Pine and
various experiences?
Yeah, wasn't that when Shatner hosted?
Yeah, well, Shatner hosted the other one too.
I am desperately trying to stay away from documentaries because somehow I have remained unscathed and virginized of Star Trek. So, I don't know fuck all that's coming, and I think that is great because this would not have had an impact if it didn't. I mean, it would have, but it wouldn't have been my mind is broken.
There's more. Wait till you get into DS9.
I know, that's what I'm powering. Well, it's kind of sad because Travis is telling me how good DS9 is, so I'm powering towards it.
The first couple of seasons, you're onto slow boiled, and once the minion get introduced, oh god, watch out.
Well, that's Star Trek in general. The first few seasons are generally pretty rough. Some series are able to weather it. Shows like Enterprise were not.
Voyager had a strong first season. They had a sophomore slump, but their freshman season was pretty good.
Voyager did have a decently strong first season, but I even argue that DS9 had a fairly strong run in those early seasons.
This is where you guys. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Brano.
I mean,
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, you get the virgin opinion of it, and this is what I got to say about the first few seasons of TNG. The first one has really great episodes when they're good, but when they are bad, it is fucking bad. when you get to season 2, like the bad episodes still interest me. Like it kind of feels like, okay, now we know what we're doing, and the bad episodes are kind of minuscule. And then the third season, it's like there's one bad episode and the rest are just fucking gems. I don't understand how this works, but it just does. Like Todd Howard is somewhere losing his mind somewhere when I say this, but it does. It works.
And I'd even argue that, like, when it comes to the early seasons of DS9, I'd say that those are also very underrated. But then again, DS9 is just straight up underrated. Like, yeah, the later seasons are very, very, very strong compared to those early seasons. But I mean, like, there's a reason I say that even at its absolute worst, DS9 always has something grasping, like something to keep your attention. Like people, like there's a season 1 episode that people like to give shit to when it comes to DS9. And it's called "Move Along Home." And again,
Oh God,
I do not see what's so bad about. Like, I understand why people don't like it, but I find it like kind of.
Oh, no, he froze.
Ways. Like, I was brilliant.
You froze mid-range.
Travis, your internet connection is really slow. You're hanging up a lot.
Dude, close out Discord.
Oh, I might have.
Right.
I'll do that.
Dude,
Close out
Discord
Discord
and just starts messing everything up with StreamYards. I don't
Discord.
One thing, Raina, that since this wasn't like not a spoiler, Gene Roddenberry was not a fan of Patrick Stewart being cast. So Patrick Stewart had an uphill battle. Yeah, Patrick Stewart was not his first pick. So when he cast
this show, I'm just gonna say it right now. As much as I think that Riker is sexy with the fuck me eyes, he could not carry the show by himself. There's just no way.
No. That's a fair.
I have a resemblance if I grow my beard out a bit.
That's a fair assessment.
No.
What are you trying to say, Ross?
Just one of those things is that Patrick Stewart was Gene Roddenberry was not Stewart's biggest fan.
I don't know why, but I'm having a disturbing image of just Ross's anniversary, just him coming in dressed like Riker to his wife. I don't know why, but that bothers me so much right now that you said that.
Well, look, if Ross starts full Riker,
my connection okay.
Don't.
Like I'm out of here.
I can barely hear you, Travis, but it's looking better.
Is my connection okay?
Yeah.
It's looking better. I can barely hear you, though.
My God. Ross, don't do that. You'll pull something.
Hey,
he just did
I do stretch and flex every morning at work, and I'll probably be compelled to stretch once or twice tonight. I'm Limberman.
Number one.
Okay, so hold on. Raina, you just witnessed the Riker maneuver. Do you know the Picard maneuver?
No, I can't say it.
Okay. No, you do. Here's the Picard maneuver is this.
Because the first couple seasons
shirt. You gonna buy me a choo-choo shirt?
I don't have one either.
I mean,
no one ever got me a choo-choo shirt.
Raina, so the Picard maneuver is pulling the shirt down because the uniform is right up. So the Picard maneuver is what Patrick Stewart started doing, pulling it down.
Yeah, the first couple seasons, the uniforms were basically spandex, and whenever they would
grab your tea,
my tea.
All right, cool.
Tea. The first couple seasons, the uniforms would ride up really bad on them, so they would have to do that every time the tip, because if not, it would be a wrinkled mess. But they fixed the uniforms, but he just kept doing it out of habit.
And oh my God, Wesley has become less obnoxious. I actually like him now. What happened?
No. It gets worse again.
No, it doesn't. Shut up, Justin.
By the time, well, no, you get to be like.
I still like Pulaski better, though. Nothing's going to change my mind on that.
When you get later in the show, Crusher will get better. Trust me, you'll get to the point where, like, okay, she's as good as. In your opinion, it should change your opinion to she's as good as Pulaski. Not better, but your opinion should switch to she's as good.
Greg.
Roddenberry is not a large part of the show anymore, and you can tell from season 3 on, Crusher is way better.
Hey, Greg, would you say in the later seasons she crushes it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
That's the thing is I like Beverly. That's the thing is I don't think she's a bad character. It's just like, can you do more doctory stuff? Like I was glad to see her actually doing some medical this season. Like it was like,
Yeah, that wasn't her
Prove
doing.
me
That
wrong.
that was all. That was
Damn
that
it,
was her doing.
Pulaski's
That was
running around
all-
making splints when the power's out. What are you
And
doing?
see, that's why
That was all Rick Berman.
left. That's why she left season 2 because she wanted to do more of her character. She was going to leave, and then she got asked to come back to season 3.
Yeah, they did more. They
Berman.
promised to do more.
Does-
They promised to
does
do more with their
Pulaski never
character.
come back?
No, Pulaski.
Oh,
Not to spoil that one. I'm sorry, but no, Pulaski never makes a return.
God damn it! I actually like
He
her
does
too.
in the books. If you ever get around reading the
Dude,
books,
that woman's
makes an
got some
appearance here and there.
straight up balls, man. I'm just telling you, some of the stuff she
Hold
says.
on, Raina. Also, one of the things how Travis was mentioning how people didn't like the series when it first came out. At the time, also TOS wasn't technically done. They had actually released in the time
Really?
TNG started. They were getting done with Voyage Home, and then
And did
Star
on
Trek 5 and
5.
6 came out at the same time TNG was running. So it divided the fan base there because we still have Kirk, we still have Kirk. And it's like nope,
And-
hey, look, Picard.
But if you watch, if you look at the Star Trek 5 and 6 movies, you will know TNG set. Like
Yes.
you'll see the sick bay engineering in Star Trek 6 is redressed. Yeah, they do it very cheeky.
Well, I will say this: the one thing that you guys missed the honest reaction at camp. Travis was telling me about the TNG movies, right? That I should watch those before I watch Picard. Like after I watch the series, watch the movies, then watch Picard. Because he's like, there is some references to the movies in this. So I was like, all right, well, I'll do that. And he was telling me when they came out, and he's like, Nemesis came out. I think he said like 2001, and I was just like,
2002.
what? Like
Yeah.
I had the like Princess Leia reaction where I was losing my mind. Like, are you serious? How?
Yeah.
How is this happening right now?
Very
I
long.
didn't realize they went on that long.
I remember.
I'm gonna grab some coffee. When I get back, we'll get started.
Sounds good.
Well, we feel actually did great on time.
I
We
swear, if
actually
Ross
went
comes
pre-show
back and
really
does the
super
Riker
early.
maneuver again, I'm going to lose my mind.
But first, I have a redeem.
But Raina, no.
You need to add Riker maneuver as your redeem.
How you're going?
Get some points to spend, Ross. Do the maneuver.
If you this is gonna sound
Don't break
confusing,
your
but when you finish TNG, watch the first 2.5 seasons of DS9, then watch Generations, because there is going to be a plot, if you will, that will tie in, because DS9 happens the last 2 seasons of TNG, and then
and they actually cross over.
They cross over, yes.
Couple episodes. The only time really that they do it other than Voyager.
11.
Voyager and DS9 cross over a little bit.
Yeah,
12.
They do a handoff.
Their continuity will always be a problem among franchises, but Star Trek kind of set the standard for how it should be done well. So I would say Marvel kind of followed suit with that.
Ross,
And
are
that's why
you
Mar-
okay?
I think Ross just broke himself.
I think he hurt himself. It's that damn Riker maneuver. It's only made for professionals. Stop.
Okay, so fun fact, Raina, you know why Frakes did that, right? Why he does the leg thing, or you ever notice why he leans, like he puts his leg on the console?
Because his uniform is
Hold on. The reason he did that is because Frakes used to move furniture and he had a back injury, so that's why he lifts his leg over chairs, and that's why he leans on consoles to help his back.
Oh, I thought he was just adding to the sexy factor. Well, that just why'd you take that from me?
It worked for you, but it's one of those fun facts that he used to move furniture, so he hurt his back. So that would be a way of him helping his back. That's why he sits weird in the commander's chair or leans forward, because of his back.
Dude, I became so thirsty after I saw that beard reveal. Like, because Travis was like, "Oh, you like Riker? You're gonna love him in season 2."
Mm-hmm.
Why? As soon as the season started, I'm like, why?
What about that data beard?
The data beard.
No. I was like,
fun fact about the Riker beard. Jonathan Frakes didn't want to keep it. He just came on ready to shoot the season 2. And he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna go shave my beard and start." The producer's like, "Hey, no, keep it." And he kept it.
That beard might as well be a crew member of its own. I'm just saying. There's just no way. Like that man, like he looked like a damn Boy Scout in season 1, but season 2, oh my god.
He looks better with a collar now. He looks better with a collar now, doesn't he? He's a bit beefier now, and
Dude, when he fought that Klingon, I was getting some major girl thirst vibes.
Uh-oh.
Like, oh my god.
What was it? One thing though, not that you're not paying attention. Geordi, I would argue, has the best character growth through TNG.
When they moved him to engineering, that was the best.
Yes,
that was the best thing they could have done.
Let me say this about Geordi. He has some fucking great episodes in season 3.
Oh,
he has some great episodes. Like, I didn't really care about like I'll be honest. When I started, like, I felt like Worf and Geordi got like no love, and then season 3 they just like gave them all the love.
Yes, you're right. You're not wrong.
They're fantastic characters. Like, the only one that even Yar, like, she got a redemption. Like I told you, like, I fucking hate Yar. I hope she dies the second time because I don't. It was just like when she died, I'm like,
shut up, Justin.
I was like, no,
Justin, shut up.
They made, like in yesterday's Enterprise, like they made me have the feels, and I don't like that. Why would you make me feel this? Shut up, Justin. Don't spoil anything.
Seriously,
yeah. Come on, man. But no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, with this is now. I personally, I did like Yar, and I'll agree though. She had a really messed up kind of like kick off the show. But yesterday's like you said, yesterday's Enterprise gave her closure. It gave her a better send off.
I will say that is probably one of the best TV send-offs I have ever seen. Like, her
better than her
to go down with that ship is probably one of the most fantastic things I've ever seen.
This isn't a spoiler. So you've seen with the Worf episode, you've seen, I believe, Emissary, and there was another one, Sins of the Father.
Sins of the Father was good.
Unofficially, Worf gets a 5-parter in TNG, so you got 3 more Worf-centric episodes coming that are really good.
Nice.
Yeah. Some episodes to look forward to in season 4.
Best of Both Worlds Part 2 and Family.
Well, I mean, that's a given.
That goes without saying.
First Contact, I believe, is very underrated. Reunion is a good one.
Well, here's the thing. If I were going against the obvious, of the best like episodes of the season for 2 and 3 that are like that they're good episodes, but I feel like they get overlooked a lot. If I had to pick a favorite that wasn't like fan favorite, I would say second season is a matter of honor. No, like hands down, a fucking fantastic Riker episode.
It's a good episode.
Yeah, but Neil's standoff is about the same as Worf's standoff. They just copied it.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is that they handle it. Like, I feel like Riker really carries that performance. Like, when he goes on that ship, like, I really had like a really feel awesome moment when he's like, "No, I swore to this ship and I'll go down with it." Like, you're like, fuck. He's serious, man. Like, I'm impressed.
Riker's one of the few humans, because of Worf, he understands their culture so well. That's why he sits there and he gets it. With Travis going about season 4, and season 4 episodes I think you'll like would be Future Imperfect and Galaxy's Child. I think you'll get a kick out of.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Season 3.
Dislike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, I just never cared for how they ended that one.
Which one, Travis? Sorry.
Future Imperfect. Like, the setup is brilliant, but the ending I just thought was underwhelming. But
a lot of those stories, they weren't connected at all.
But
it was very much Planet of the Week with Star Trek TNG, but they had some like 2 and unofficial 3-parters.
What episode really stuck with me, surprisingly, and I was like, because after I finished the season, I was kind of looking on list, right? Like, of what people like to see where I kind of stand. And there was one that's underappreciated in season 3, and I fucking loved it. I love the plot of it. Was The Defector. I really liked that episode a lot.
All right, Reunion is good. Data's Day is also really good.
The Wounded,
Blues, I believe, is very underrated. First Contact again. Greg mentioned Galaxy's Child.
And can
to see that one again? It's been
can we make a pledge on the show, please, to never talk about the Royale? I want to forget that exists. I just I don't want to hear about that fucking episode again.
Raina, the Royale exists.
Hey, Raina, you have Cupid to look forward to.
Yes. Oh, you're gonna love that one,
dude. I needed bleach for my eyes. Naked Q. I'm not gonna get that out of my head.
Really? Over Mariachi Q?
Okay, that was a gem. I actually like the line in there where it's with him and Riker. Where it's like, I don't need your fantasy women, Q.
Snap. I forgot that was in
You wouldn't have. Where he says something
Raina,
on the.
This is a fun fact behind the scenes. When Q does his little trumpet and he's back, when Patrick Stewart's like this, he's laughing. They just left it in there.
Well,
so when they go to look at Patrick Stewart again, when it gives him frontal view, he had to stop laughing in order to do that take.
I feel like there's kind of like a lot of that in that episode, because there's a moment I love that Riker, you could tell he's like losing his shit, like he's about to laugh, where it's like, how can I prove that I'm moral to you people? Worf just speaks, die. And, like, Riker looks like he's like losing his shit, like trying not to laugh.
I think the best moment of that episode was when Guinan just straight up
stabs him with the fork.
Yes. He's human.
Seems human.
Oh man.
Season 4, one of the best episodes is called Half a Life.
Oh, yes.
Like, without spoiling too much.
Oh, you want to.
It's not very often that we see Lwaxana Troy get a very serious episode, and this one is a really, really, really good Lwaxana episode. So
this one, yeah, Half-Life is a good one. It gives you a more in-depth look to Lwaxana in a way.
Yeah. I think another hidden gem in season 2, actually thinking about it, me and Travis watched it together and I really enjoyed it, was Elementary Dear Data.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the Sherlock
one.
Yes.
That is a fantastic episode, man. Like, I love that shit. And as a Sherlock Holmes fan, like, that rung all the right bells for me.
I love that guy's Moriarty. He played an amazing one.
Oh, yeah.
He was fantastic.
Oh, if I may, Rainey, so you saw The Offspring, right?
Yes.
So...
I cringed at the design. Like, I love the premise, but the design just had me cringing, man. He looked like something out of it, like a fucking Dr. Seuss book. Like, I can't even.
All right. Are we talking about the same episode here?
I think so.
That's what I'm wondering.
What do you
The Offspring
as?
The Offspring is the one where Data makes. Oh my god, I was so tired when I was watching up all night. Like that's the thing. Like, I'm picturing it in my head, but to explain,
he creates a child.
Yeah, Thank
Lol.
you.
Lol.
I do find that name just a little silly. I mean, like, I understand the meaning and context behind it, but whenever I hear that, I just hear LOL.
Think LOL.
Well, you guys got to thank Travis, honestly, for actually like stapling me in hard into this show, because I saw The Measure of a Man and it changed my fucking life. Like, I was like, I have to see this through. If there's more episodes like this, I have to see it through.
I'm actually really
there
really
is
sorry.
actually. Go ahead, Travis.
Go ahead.
The sun has appeared.
Hi, son.
Hi, everyone.
I'm really, really sorry that we didn't get a chance to see the extended cut of The Measure of a Man.
There's an extended cut?
My Blu-ray collection has an extended cut.
You're missing
and there's a lot of like stuff that really strengthens.
Just hear
that.
Raina
Like,
furiously typing
it's
extended cut Measure of a Man.
Like, it's really like like you'd think that like the additions here like are like not needed, but there were so many strong scenes that really just it's a shame.
Well,
they
don't
weren't
tell
there.
me that.
Well, next time we see
Travis,
each other,
don't be a spoiler.
Mail your DVDs, damn it! I will mail them back.
Down.
We will go old style fucking Netflix.
There is one in season 4, man. It's kind of like Measure of a Man. It's called The Drumhead. You'll like that one a lot too.
That one's a decent. I'm gonna move my mic back.
All right, let's get show on the road, folks.
All right,
Hold on, I'm gonna bring my microphone back just a little bit.
So Justin,
Yeah.
are you starting off with an infographic? This is Ross rant this week.
Do you have one?
Ross knows the intro. I want.
Yes.
Yeah,
I talked
because-
about it quite a bit yesterday.
Have you not looked at the Trello, Justin?
Ross knows the
Well,
intro.
as far as I knew, we were covering Lower Decks Bad Batch, and What If, and we didn't know we were going to have enough time to cover anything else.
Justin,
guys-
literally look at your own Trello. Come on.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yep, I
I'm
can
going to
hear
want
you,
you to throw up the
Yeah,
cards
Travis.
this week. I got a bunch of pretty pictures on there.
Well, yeah, we can hear you.
That's a-
We can hear you,
that's a-
Travis.
What's
You
up?
did a really good job.
We can hear you, Travis.
All right, just making sure.
Get a little closer to your mic. You're really, really soft.
Of course I am.
Lane, quit
Try to
hogging
move
the
the
mic.
clip of the mic, Travis. You gotta
Share.
basically
We
shove
talked
it in
about
your
that.
mouth.
Testing.
I can hear you.
Is that better?
Yes.
No,
I mean-
quiet
I mean-
again.
I know he didn't, but all I heard was fisting.
Let's go ahead and start the show. Yeah.
No, guys. Like, do I sound okay? Yes or no?
Yes.
Move the mic
You
closer.
sound okay, but you're very soft. It's hard to hear you.
How about now?
That's better.
Getting
That's
better.
much better.
Stay that exact distance. Do not move a muscle.
I need to get a better mic. I feel. I think I just need
No,
a better
your mic's
microphone.
fine. It's your positioning that's the problem.
Well, I don't like it just in my face is the thing. So, like,
Do you have a gain switch on the microphone?
not really.
Okay. When you get the opportunity, either during or after the show, see if you can adjust your gain settings.
Hold on. I think I know how
Or
to do
find out
that,
if it's done automatically and if it mutes you.
Hold on. I can do that right now, actually.
Okay.
Ross
Why
knows the
lie
intro
on
for the show.
Super
I'm just saying.
Microphone set up.
Well, we're
Right,
actually
let's
going
do
to be starting on time regardless. So we're actually doing really,
Yeah.
really good. I'm very proud of everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Good job.
All right, let's do it. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
let's go.
All right. Let's get
Hold
this
on,
party
hold on.
started.
Sound settings. I'm just making sure. Master
Boop you back,
volume, inputs.
Boopity boppity boopity boppity boop.
Boost the confinement beam.
And manage sound devices. Headphone.
Ah,
devices,
I see a
microphone.
rant.
I just love Travis reading out technical jargon while Lane is just sitting there staring.
I have to do it.
It's just
to,
like Lane.exe stopped working.
I'm
I
going to
do it
upload
to,
that infographic for you, Ross. For that one.
I do it to keep my focus. Like I do it to keep sound control. Panel.
What Raina is really saying is she could listen to Travis talk Technobabble all day.
Oh wait, what?
Babble.
Yeah, well maybe. I cannot confirm nor
Where's my
deny.
input?
So, Randa, does Riker get your phase inducers out of alignment?
I should leave right now for that. Quit using Riker jokes against me. It's not fair. You all know
Oh,
that
you
I'm
missed it,
thirsty for
son.
the Riker.
Where the hell?
Oh,
did I go?
you missed it earlier. Ross did a Riker and Raina about lost it.
So did Leah.
I was more afraid that Ross had hurt himself. You were picking up something and you looked
Are
like
you
you were going,
ready?
ah!
Travis, sound check.
I don't know yet. Hold on. Be patient.
You
with me
sound
here.
good right there. Talk
Yeah, but he's
again.
leaning hard into it.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
leaning. I don't like leaning.
Can you move it closer to you at all?
You're gonna-
Maybe
Don't
drop.
rush
gonna give-
me, please. Let me
Yeah,
focus.
Greg, after telling me that Riker actually had a fucking back issue, you're going to give Travis one now, too. I
Can you
can't
move
believe you
your
took that
microphone?
from me. I just thought it was a sexy pose. I didn't know his back was hurting.
You were going to
Oh, I
find
feel
out sooner
bad.
or later.
God damn it, Greg. You ruined everything. You can take a lot from me, but you can't take that beard from me.
Oh, by the way, I am now experiencing the pain. The pain.
Oh,
The pain that is trying to get
Taco Bell?
5 nice throws in a row.
in Pokemon Go?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you poor thing.
It's like, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. The computer's just like, no, this one's nice. Same exact throw. No, that's not nice. Not nice at all.
You looked at the
Poor,
camera funny.
poor thing.
That's not a nice throw anymore. Congratulations.
Access. Where do I go for the goddamn?
I just loved when like I actually feel bad for Niantic, but at the same time I kind of laugh at them when they mess something up. Like I love the glitch where all the Pokemon that were appearing for everyone was shiny for a short amount of time, and they're like, "No, we gotta fix it. We're taking Pokemon away from people like Team Rocket."
And hold on. Okay, Travis, you see how Greg has his set up? Whenever you're sitting up, that's where the mic should be at.
I'm not looking right now. Right now, I'm trying to find where I control my microphone input, like volume.
Go into audio set and type in your Windows search bar audio settings.
I like my favorite thing is I've not played this game since 2018.
You got Windows 10, right?
Yes, I have Windows 10.
And I log in, and one of my Raticade is now a fucking like Galarian fucking Raticade. It's like, what the fuck? When did you get a mustache and a top hat, you bastard?
Leah, you're not funny. That's not funny.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Leah. Not funny. Stop it.
Leah.
She's savage. I love her.
That's my fiance.
Oh, here we go.
Damn, Greg, she's more savage than you.
Don't do that in an office chair.
Damn it! Don't hurt yourself.
Ross, you're gonna pull your groin muscle.
Don't do that. Don't do that in an office chair. All those chairs on TNG, all those TNG chairs had really low backs.
Actually, you know what, Ross? Ross, you should put that as a redeem.
The Riker maneuver. Riker mount and Riker maneuver.
Testing.
See, that's good right there.
Especially dirty.
I'm telling you, like, Sun missed the whole thing. I literally said my worst nightmare with Ross doing that is I just pictured that that's an anniversary for him and his wife.
Oh.
Him dressed as Riker.
Maybe in those yoga pants.
Yoga pants.
Well, at least Ross is not wearing shorts because we would have all gotten to show that.
You know what? I don't even care. That
hey,
beard,
and I made the feet people very happy just now.
That's true. He did.
Shout out Quentin Tarantino.
All right, you ready?
All right, let's do this. Travis, all right, you sound great. He's frozen.
Travis, you okay?
Oh, he's moving. He's good.
Oh, okay, he's alive.
Checking the Trello. Why is Lower Decks not on the Trello?
It is.
It's all wrapped up in one, I think.
Yeah, it's the season premiere story.
Yeah,
I took it off.
Our Trellos are nice and tidy.
Wait, what the hell is Fantasy Island? Why didn't anyone CC me in that? What is that?
The plane, boss. The plane. That's
I don't know. I assumed Carlos was going to be in here for that.
Oh no! Anyways,
guys, it's not on there.
It'll be fine.
Marvel's Gifts, Stargirl, Fantasy Island, Star Trek Lower Decks.
It refresh.
It's under Captain Carter's picture. Where Bucky, for some reason, looks like he's shooting wrong.
Why does he look like that?
Oh my god, Bucky's a terrible shot.
All right, let's get on with it. Let's go.
All righty,
let's do it. Let's go.
All right. And countdown in 3, 2, 1, and Ross goes full screen and countdown start now. Bum 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 bum.
Behold! Damn it.
And there goes that gag.
The first coming of Ross today on the Real Super Geeks.
Wait, he came for the first time? What?
Oh!
Nice one, number one.
Clearly not. I have a child.
Oof.
What else have you not been telling me?
Roll credit.
Dustin, roll it, roll it, roll it. some point we don't have a compilation of failed intros, I'll be very disappointed, but also slightly embarrassed. Anyway, welcome to the Real Super Geeks podcast. On today, the 13th of August, 2021. We're all still here, folks. We're going to make it.
I think I broke my
Is Ross. Live, love, play. The eyebrows of doom and attempted demigod.
Oh my god, this is a Lower Decks episode.
Our attempted demigod. You just look like the dude from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Gentlemen, corn!
You cannot go ransom on us. There's no one there to kick you in the balls, man.
Son.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife, she's an actual demigod, so.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, her name is Ray.
Wait, what? Am I missing something?
No, not at all, Raina.
No.
If I ever stick a toe out of the line, she'll put me back in place.
All he has to do is hide the lightsabers, but she'll find them anyway.
Joining me is our wondrous array of hosts. First and foremost, he's the man behind these, and he's doing a lot better on time.
Obviously, your internet is not.
Speaking of better on time, your internet is not on time.
And in Ross.
Justin, you promised me you'd fix this, Justin.
I sent him the cable. Ross, did you install the cable?
I kind of hurt my foot last week. I made a big deal about it. I couldn't get anything mounted at all over the weekend. I'm doing it tomorrow.
Okay. So one more week could still frame Ross.
But first he's got to do a couple more Riker mounts. So.
Yeah, I mean,
you have got to have that redeemed.
I don't know what these people are on about.
Oh, coming to us once again from the kingdom of the Zora, she is our own wondrous fish lady. Son, how you doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm here. Oh, this was a week this week. Whew. A lot of crap going on this week, but hey, I'm here.
Yay,
you're feeling a lot better.
I am feeling better, but
you sound like your chipper self.
Today was not good until like about 3 or 4 hours ago. Then I made meatloaf.
Nice.
Yeah, meatloaf fixes a lot of shit.
Yes, it does.
Meatloaf is that soul food that just makes you just feel good.
I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better, son.
Thank you.
They are the dynamic duo, Travis and Lane. How you guys doing?
Bat Lane. No, there you go.
We're all right. Thank you very much. I'm kind of tired. It's been a very long week. I was actually involved in a hit and run yesterday.
You okay?
Nothing serious. Like, before anybody freaks out, like, here's the story. I have been doing like this new position at my job now for about a week now on my own. No longer with a trainer. And it's fairly easy for the most part, but yesterday was a bit hectic. Like, I was running everywhere yesterday, like delivering parts, loading the truck up with like all these other stuff, because sometimes the places that we deliver to, they don't always need the parts that they have, or they're damaged, and so we got to take them back, and all sorts of running here and there. And I was sitting at a red light, and I'm just trying to like just kind of get in the zen of it. And my truck ever so gently just rocks. Like, this wasn't a bam. It wasn't like a violent crash or anything. It was just like this gentle nudge. And I'm like, what was that? Was there like a gust of wind or something? And I look behind me, and there's this like green sedan just up against the rear of the truck. And I'm like, I just fucking got nudged. Like, I just got hit. And so I flash my hazards, and like, I'm in this mode of like, what do I do? Because like, I know what you have to do, but I've never been in an accident on the job before. So I'm just like, I don't know, like, if the exchange of information is somehow different or if I should call this in or anything like that. And as I'm starting to like turn off to try and get into this parking lot, she just drives away. And I'm just sitting here with this like mindset of like, really? Just like it, like again, it wasn't like anything serious because like the picture, like the damage itself was very, very, very minor. Like it was just a scrape on the corner of the rear bumper and a little crack. So like it wasn't like there was no serious damage. And again, I was not hurt. But I mean, like just with this happening on like an already hectic day on like a week that wasn't even completed yet on like my very first week on the job like this, I was just like, God, why? Like
Travis,
why?
She just wanted to tap it in.
And like I just I called the boss and I was like,
that doesn't even make sense, Justin.
Tap it in. Tap it with a card. Tap it in.
Doesn't make sense.
No, that doesn't make sense. No. If you're wanting to go the magic route, it's tap that. Oh my God, Justin. For the love of God.
Leave the double entendre to son, Justin. Or keep practicing. Please continue, Travis.
But yeah, yesterday was just a big old shitty day, and I didn't get in trouble or nothing. So like, it was just like, I don't think anybody even brought it up when I got back. It's like, yeah, I got hit and run. Okay, then I guess that happened, and just I came home today, like kind of just laid down, and I'm going in for an extra day tomorrow. So, working man.
Well, see, your first mistake was driving away from the red light in the first place.
Well, I mean, the light was green.
I understand that, but when there is an accident, you are supposed to remain in place.
Well, the big intersection is supposed to fall off to the side if you can't you? At least here, that's what they tell you.
Yeah, it was like basically, like, if I remember right, the state law is to move the accidents away from traffic, and I mean, I could drive, so it was like, okay, let's get to this nearby parking lot, and she just went on. So I mean, it was just like, well, shit. And
see, that's the thing about driving. You have to drive for other people, not just yourself.
You know, something I wish they would implement here that they implement in other countries is dash cams. Insurance companies require them in other countries. They should do the same for here for situations like this.
Okay, Justin, think about that for a second. Think about mask mandates. And now imagine how well a dash cam mandate would go over.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, true.
Not going to happen.
True.
But I've got premium insurance. I don't need a dash cam. Why are you hassling me?
All right. Thank you very much, Travis. Glad you're all right and glad you didn't get in trouble. All right. He's back and he's ready to ditch on the show he loves to hate. Greg, how you doing this week?
Doing good. Justin's ready on that mute button. If you guys can't read it, my little whiteboard back here, it actually says they pay me to say nice.
What was that?
Okay, who pays you? Because I certainly don't.
Yeah, who the fuck pays you? Because I want in on this.
That's the joke, because I'm not going to say anything like Lower Decks.
like who CBS is paying you, because I need to hit them up.
But I am looking forward to tonight's show. We got Lower Decks. What If? It's going to be a fun show, so looking forward to it.
Thank you, Greg. And last but not least, she's back in her natural habitat in her own wolf's den. Raina, how you doing?
I'm doing actually really good this week.
With no Riker.
I am thirsty for Riker. I don't care what anybody says. You could judge me all you want. I love them. But no, I had a good week. I came back from the trip. I was sunburned to hell. I'm still healing from the one here that caused me like a little actual blood infection that I actually had to deal with earlier in the week. But I'm feeling a lot better. The fever's gone and whatnot. I went surgery shopping, so to say. Like, I was looking for a surgeon and they sent me to the right place to get a starting ground. So Where I thought I was knocked back by my insurance, I am actually starting to find my way again. So everything's going good. Solid. I start college in a few weeks again, my new semester. I am just kicking life in the ass today.
Sweet.
Yay, college students.
Glad someone is.
Well, someone's got to make
right.
a win.
Hey,
Someone's got to make a win here. It might as well be me.
Hey,
I
maybe
start,
you
I
could
start
get in.
my senior year next week.
Sweet.
Maybe you
Boomer.
could get involved in all that frat boy culture, huh, Raina?
Really? I'm like the biggest dork. I'm probably going to be the victim of frat boy culture, if anything.
No. You bring the keg, and you'll be the life of the party
Listen,
when you drink
there
the
you go.
shot.
I am not Animal House. I am Revenge of the Nerds.
They
Well,
do that at the party.
Look, the nerds knew how to fucking party. Come on, they put out a whole fucking stage production with an electric violin as the lead.
I could get Riker there.
You could.
Or Discount Riker and Ross.
Ross.
Look,
Ross
buy
is the
you
right
dinner.
you will get if you
Look, George
Ross
Takei's
I agree.
always looking for work.
Don't
is
you hydrate
the
your way
right
out
you
of
will
this?
get if you order from Wish.com.
Do your job.
I am much higher quality than anything on Wish. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no,
Ross is the Amazon Prime Riker.
yeah, no. Ross is totally Alibaba, not Wish.
I'm a goddamn stunt devil.
We'll maneuver around your chair with 1 day shipping.
I'm the guy they shoot from behind to look like Riker.
Patches are not included.
Anyway, thank you guys. Glad you all had a great week. Let's roll on into the show. And we've got a lot to talk about, but first,
Did we just skip over me on the intro?
unfortunately, I have
Justin, how
something
you
to
doing?
say. What?
You just skipped over me.
How are you doing?
No, Justin,
You
you
were the
were
first person to talk
first.
to.
You
Oh,
were literally the first. How much weed
sorry
have
to
you had
interrupt.
this week?
there's clearly not enough. I probably need more.
Jesus.
Someone get that man a coffee.
Fly back.
Unfortunately, we do have something a little heavy to talk about first before we get into the really fun stuff. So last week we talked about Games Workshop, and was it last week or the week before?
Probably
Either
not
way.
last week, unless you guys.
And
last
their crackdown on fan animations. And as a result, it's caused a lot of fans to feel disenfranchised with Games Workshop, and many people started looking for other properties to get into since they no longer believe in Games Workshop and the games that they produce. And this has sent several people into the world of BattleTech. This is my Thunderbolt.
Yay!
Good job, number one.
Talk about
And-
mounting a nuclear device, right?
Not that one, but some do. It is powered by a fusion engine, so it could go kaboom. But and this includes many content creators, and one such content creator, Arch Warhammer, whom I've talked about before. Son and Justin, you might remember him from that controversy with Studio FOW, the porn company, when they caught a lot of flack for previewing their game on his channel. Loved how they handled that, by the way. Basically, the PR version of a shrug. Hey, we just want to make sexy games. What's your guys' problem? Well, Arch reached out to one of the more prominent creators in the BattleTech community, someone I have talked about on the show as well, Tex from the Black Pants Legion of Tex Talks BattleTech. And they had a decent length conversation about hobbies, about Games Workshop, and about BattleTech. And it was a good conversation. But Arch is a controversial figure in the creator community, and some people see him as a vile individual who should be shunned at any opportunity, and unfortunately assume that anyone who associates with him, even briefly, endorses everything that they believe that he stands for. And as a result, Tex has been on the receiving end of a horrific amount of harassment. People pulling their support from him, unsubscribing to his Patreon, and leaving all sorts of nasty and hate messages, ranging from severe disappointment and foul language to saying he should fucking kill himself. And someone like Tex, who has been a voice of positivity in the community, who has raised a ton of money for all sorts of charities through Tex Talks Battletech, and organizing charitable fundraisers for people in need. Someone in the community's house had flooded and they needed to replace their floors, and Tex helped that happen. A veteran in the community was facing eviction, and he organized a fundraiser to make that happen. But to the people slinging this harassment his way, completely ignore all that and see, oh, he interacted with this person, he is obviously a bigot. No. And I made a post to this effect in the Facebook group that if we see anything like this, there's zero tolerance. You're out of here. There's no way I'm going to endorse any kind of harassment like this to someone who does not deserve it. It's wrong. It's reprehensible. We're adults. We can talk about our disagreements and we can be better. Like Tex, we can be the change we want to see in the world. So Tex, I don't know if you watch this, probably not, but in the case that you do, I'm terribly sorry that you're on the receiving end of all of this, and I really hope that it doesn't change you, and that you continue to be the good and positive, hardworking, and overworked kind of individual you are. Keep doing good, man. Don't let these people drag you down.
This reminds me of when notorious YouTuber Keemstar basically sent a hate raid to like some 80-year-old dude on Twitch who was literally just streaming like old school RuneScape, and literally sent like a hate raid at him because Keemstar got the guy's name wrong and confused him for a dude that was actually released from jail because the dude was a pedo, essentially. So Keemstar basically sent a hate raid to the wrong fucking guy, and this guy was literally just sobbing for hours on stream after that. And it's like, yeah, no, double check whatever the hell you think you're doing. And for the love of God, this is why I talk about the revenge of the woke shit. This is literally more destructive than anything I ever saw come out of Gamergate. You may have had the harassers that harassed a whole bunch of women, but like in the greater context of all that Gamergate bullshit, like it was Gamergate that raised a whole bunch of money to fund a bunch of outlets that wanted to do game reviews and shit like wasn't being done at Polygon and Kotaku anymore, because they were all moving into pop culture bullshit. But you know, none of that matters because it was all about harassment. Okay, sure, but what about the harassment that all those gamers now receive on a constant fucking basis because they're gamers? Like, even Kotaku and Polygon still write articles to this day literally shitting on what is supposed to be their primary player base or their primary reader base.
I need to say this as someone who has jumped on one of these hate mobs in the past and it ended up being completely false and completely bullshit. Do not fall for it. It's very easy to do. It's easy to really fake evidence. Wait and see how things actually play out. And don't play judge, jury, and executioner for these people. Don't do that. You know what? Regardless if they're innocent or guilty or whatever you think they're doing, don't do this. Like, there is so much better ways to go about these kinds of things, and it's very easy to get caught in a hate mentality. And I was just saying this. You feel empowered when you're part of that big group, but you're not powerful. You're only powerful with that group. And once that dissipates, what do you have? You have nothing left. Be better than that. Rise above it. And that's coming from someone who has messed up in the past. I mean, granted, it was just, you know, of course they came back to YouTube, but they stepped away for a long time for things that weren't even true. Don't do it. It's very easy to get caught up in the hype in the moment.
Two other creators come to mind that have been on the receiving end of treatment like this. Son of I have talked about him before. That was actually pretty recently, this past year, where a group tried to cancel him and got took away a good some of his support, but he just reached over 100,000 subscribers and got his silver YouTube button. So he managed to come out on top of that. And prior to that, Oxhorn, a Fallout YouTuber that I followed, he also got someone who reached back into his past and found a mistake that he made and tried to make a big deal out of it. But Ox was able to weather that with calm and grace and rise above.
Yeah, see that's the thing. I don't agree with the people who like to try and go back and to dig into people's past and shit. Actually, that's something that's going on right now. For those of you who love and or hate the Quartering, Jeremy Hambley. Yeah, no, he's been recently doing that on Twitter, going back into other people's pasts and shit. And the guy literally talks about being anti that. You know, you
anyway.
You will make yourself a monster by trying to be anti whatever, you know, whatever the, you know, just stop. You don't like a person? Okay, cool. Don't make it a fucking vendetta. Because if you make it a fucking vendetta, you're going to lose. Doesn't matter if you hurt them. In the long run, you lose.
All right.
Before we move on, I have a late breaking announcement. Where everybody's been wondering where Carlos Pedraza is. I have found him.
What's that, Carlos? I said, I find casinos incredibly depressing. Except for the restaurants. I love the restaurants at casinos. What kind of restaurants you like the most? Buffets!
He is at a buffet.
Is he with Joe?
Yes.
Is that Joe?
His natural habitat.
Former Super Geek Jason Korbeck. He is with the entire Hater crew in Star Trek Las Vegas. You can keep up with their antics on the Axie Monitor Twitter and Axie Monitor Facebook page.
He's with Kobach? Huh.
Yep.
Awesome.
He's with Kovalik and Paul Jenkins, Sean O'Halloran, and the entire Trek Geeks crew. He's with the entire. They got a whole hero prop squad over there.
I mean, like, holy shit! Half of the oldest show cast is like literally in Las Vegas right now.
Yes.
Yep.
And you have to wonder if they've been planning this for like the whole fucking year, because
they have.
It's literally
of course
been
they
the
have.
beginning. It's literally the beginning of the year when all of them started filtering out of the show.
We have been live for about an hour now. Let's start talking about the fun shit.
I was about to ask if you or Greg had any thoughts.
I mean, I'm kind of going through the similar thing of watching one of my favorite YouTubers go through something Niantic did with the game Pokemon Go. I had touched on, they reverted some of the bonuses. The biggest YouTuber in Pokemon is Mystic7, and he took the stance, the respectable stance. He goes, if you want to boycott the game, go for it. You want to keep playing, put money into it, go for it. He goes, I respect you don't want to play it, that's fine. And I respect you want to play. He took the high ground, and he's lost subscribers. Like, he's still well over 2 million, but he's got a lot of hate for taking that stance. I'm like, he took the high road and just said, hey, you don't like the game? That's great. You want to play it? That's great too. It's like, he's like, do what makes you feel happy. So it's sad to see these people like that just go through the stuff just because they take the high road and they still get stomped on like that.
Hate doesn't move us forward. Hate sets us back. All right. Thank you guys for listening to my rant and sharing your thoughts on this topic to start on, but it's something that I felt was important. So thank you. Yeah. All right. Now, The Bad Batch, episode 16, The Fall, or Falls, our
Part
season
2 finale.
Part 2. Right, and when we left off, the Bad Batch had arrived on Kamino to try and rescue Hunter, who had been captured by Crosshair and was being held as bait to lure them all in. Admiral Rampart was waiting patiently to see if he could successfully capture the Renegade clone force, but as he did capture them, and then make an appeal to get them to join him in a surprise turn of our expectations. I really liked that. But things go awry. Rampart loses confidence and orders the barrage of Topoka City. And as the bombardment begins, the screen fades to black. And that is where we pick up. Travis, you want to take us through this episode?
Sure, why not? It worked so well last time.
Well, if you'd like to hand it off to someone else.
Our heroes awaken in a very wrecked room. They realize the Empire is blowing up the city, and the city is sinking down into the abyss. This is what happens when I handicaps, by the way. So
ham it up, man.
They they get their bearings and realize that they are kind of separated, and Omega does her best to save Crosshair's life, who's about to drown in this flooding room, and the Bad Batch also save them, and they all get back together, and they have to work together to get out of this sinking city, but not without having some squabbles, because from my point of view, the Empire is evil, and from my point of view, the Empire is good, and shit like that, and Star Wars dialogue, and it's actually really like I'm hamming it up here, but it's actually like it's pretty good dialogue. So yeah, they go through the thing and they see the city sinking, and it's very sad because this is the only home Omega's ever known. It's very sad to see the cloning facilities getting all flooded. And there's sea monsters outside, and there's no power, and they realize, oh, our one route of escape is gone because the tunnel got blown up. So what are we going to do? Robot puts them in some like glass tubes and tries to push them all up to the surface before his batteries die. But things happen, and Omega's capsule is pushed down by some debris. Robot goes down to get her, and Robot pushes her back up, and then Robot drowns. His batteries die, but he drowns. And then Omega decides, I'm gonna save my friend, who's a robot, and she exits out of her tube in the middle of the sea and goes down to get him, and everyone's like, are you fucking crazy? And she's like, I don't know, am I? And she drowns, and then Crosshair's like, oh, I'll save the day, and he gets his gun, and they're like, he's gonna kill him. No, he's not. He gets a harpoon out of his gun or something. He shoots the robot, and he pulls them back up like the expert fisher that he is, because that's what he did as a teenager. He did a lot of fishing. Don't question it. Just don't question it. Don't question it. That's just what happened.
I mean, damn it! I was about to go. See, she dies. See.
And
so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bad Batch Abridged.
They pull him out. He pulls them out, and they're all good. And they get to the Marauder. And they have a standoff with Crosshair because Crosshair's like, I still don't like you. And Hunter's like, well, I still don't like you too. And they're like, are we going to be like bros? And they're like, no, I'm going to go back to the Empire. And Hunter's like, you're going to be just a number. And Crosshair's like, no, this changes nothing. I'm going to be part of a glorious Empire. And they leave. And Crosshair just stands there probably thinking something along the lines of, oh, crap. I don't have long-range communication equipment with me. How am I going to get off this watery wasteland? Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, that Camino scientist is welcomed by an Imperial scientist. And it's a new era for them. And that is season 1 of The Bad Batch.
Where's Bruce Falconer when you need him?
Ross, please let me interject. Please let me interject here.
Go ahead.
So tell me, Crosshair, are we still bros? Hunter, Don't call me bro.
Yep, this was Bad Batch abridged.
I tried. I hope I got
Look,
all
it's
the
better
no,
than-
you
story details.
Travis, you tried and you did well.
It's
You actually
better
did a
than
good
some of
job.
that Team
Thank you,
4
Travis. That was
star
great.
crap.
Cheers.
10 out of 10,
All
too
right.
much
So,
water.
what did everyone think of the episode? Let's lead with Greg.
2 weeks in a row, an episode so good it pissed me off. Oh my god. I was with Sun. See, Omega died. No, she didn't die. Oh my god, Hunter and Cross are gonna fight. Nope, they had to escape.
But Greg, they couldn't just let her die. You know why? Because
God.
unlike Tomb Raider 2013, they literally couldn't let the smartest kid in the room do something stupid and just die.
Yeah.
Hey, don't you compare Omega to Lara Croft making freaking weapon attachments out of dead rats?
No, I'm literally talking about Omega being Roth from that fucking game. When he's literally carrying Lara Croft, he has those dual pistols on him. He literally could have just dropped Croft and started shooting.
Son,
This is the part of the
she
show
passed
where
the
we stop
QTE.
talking about the Bad Batch and start talking.
Yeah, so
about
here,
how
okay,
much
back
Sam
to the Bad Batch. So
Tomb Raider.
I was enjoying the video. The show pretty good. I mean, okay, they obviously have to get out of the city. So I was like, okay, go with the pacing, get out of there. And of course, thing after thing happens. A giant sea monster stops them. Then like, oh, hey, tubes, let's go ahead and get up here. The robot dies, then doesn't die. And this whole time, I'm not even kidding. I'm sitting here like, Crosshair and Hunter are going to fight. Crosshair and Hunter are going to fight. Crosshair. And okay, bro, I'll see you later. It's like, what the hell? Now, don't get me wrong, from a standpoint of what I wanted versus what we got, it was great. It just wasn't what I wanted in terms of, yeah, okay, Crosshair didn't get redeemed, but he did because he saved Omega. He didn't have to. So it's like, damn it, Crosshair, you had your chance to be the next good bad guy, and you go and save the kid. So overall, it was great. I enjoyed the dynamic of the entire team, though. I mean, when Crosshair pulled out the gun to do the harpoon, Wrecker, Tech, and Echo are on him like, dude, like they didn't even lower the guns. Like even when he pulled them up, they didn't drop the guns. They didn't, because they don't trust him. So I was like, okay, there's still that animosity there. And Crosshair still on the whole Crosshair basically doing his best Vader paraphrasing, come join the dark side with me. Is basically what that was. And then Hunter doing his best Luke Skywalker. They're still good in you. I sense it. And then, yeah, so definitely season 2 is going to incorporate that much more.
Come to the Empire. We have cookies.
Exactly. But Crosshair didn't have the cookies to prove it, so they didn't go with him.
Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, that and the Empire was literally shooting at them both. Like,
yeah. So that's what I thought the episode like again. Back-to-back weeks. It was so good. It pissed me off, but hey, it was a good season finale.
Raina, how about you?
Well, for one, I need to say right off the bat, I love a good underwater set piece. I'm just saying. So when they set it up good, and it looks damn good in CGI. Now, I actually kind of like this thing, this like weird thing between Omega and like Crosshair, where it's like, you're still my brother. Now get away from me, you stupid kid. It's kind of like
brother, sister.
It really does feel like that vibe. Like, but I really did. I know like a lot of people are like wanting, like, I don't understand this podcast and wanting children to die, but okay.
Don't worry.
But
word is very dark on Super Geeks.
I will say that this episode,
look, did not play through the horrors that is the Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
Honestly,
yeah, or Skyrim.
There's a reason for that.
My favorite actual part, though, actually came from I want to say Tech, and it's not Tech.
Echo.
No, it is Tech. When he tells Crosshair, it's like, just because I understand you doesn't mean I agree with you. Like, there's this whole argument about it. And it's like, well, I mean, he's not wrong. Like, I would definitely hold my gun up the whole fucking time. I don't trust Crosshair at all. I mean, come on. Like, I feel like Crosshair is still going to make a good villain because, see, you guys look at that as an inherent weakness that he saved Omega, but I kind of look at it as like that's still heightening the tension, that there's still something deep within there. I like the idea of one struggling with their own identity in terms of good versus evil. Like, he's definitely full on Empire, but it's like I feel like he's going to come to challenge with the Empire with a lot of their decisions. Like, I mean, he's got lots of face when he gets back. I mean, they tried to fucking kill him. That was the only thing that pissed me off about this episode. The Empire tried to kill you, Crosshair. Nah, you got it all wrong, fam. Like, it's like, dude, what are you on about?
I mean, okay, so I have to ask this question: is it really an identity crisis of any sort to want to save your mom?
What?
If Django and Omega are like the clone stock, right? So they're literally the mom and the dad of all this clone army.
I'm just okay. Besides the point, like the whole thing is with that is he actually did the Empire solid when they realized Omega's DNA is going to be good for something. Like they're going to realize that. And you know what I mean? I think that's what it's going to come down to. So if anything, he probably did them a solid by saving her. I at first, like, I didn't really like Omega, but dude, she fucking took charge this episode. She was like figuring out every solution. Like, I just
taking orders from a child.
Kid calling, yeah.
It's like, fam, have you seen this child at work? She gets shit done. Like, that's how it was feeling.
Yes, I have. I've watched Star Wars before.
But in all seriousness, enough jokes aside, this episode was a great finale. Every character had their moment with Crosshair, and I really like that. Like, everyone got to kind of say their piece. And honestly, I like that despite everything, they still tried to recruit him. I kind of like Crosshair's demeanor. It's like, look, he paid her back. You know, they're even now. Now that the playing field is completely even. I'm very curious to see where they go. I honestly want to see him as like a double antagonist, both to the Empire and to them. Like taking no sides. Like I know that's not going to happen, but I would love that.
Crosshair the bounty hunter?
Well, I would feel like the Empire is not just going to hold out open arms and welcome him back. I don't think that's going to happen. There's just no way in freaking hell. They just dropped an orbital cannon on him. Like, I don't think you could just make that go away. But then again, he's a complete dumbass and doesn't believe that they're at fault at all.
If I may, real quick, just the one thing we haven't touched on, I think Justin might have done it, but did you notice that when that clone trooper walked up to Admiral Rampart, he was hesitant as hell to give him that status report? And it's like he knows that the clones are done. Like after seeing the city bombarded and destroyed, that clone knows his days are numbered. So he was very, very hesitant and reluctant to deliver that report. And the Admiral's like, thank you. And then just sits there in his glory, if you will. And yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh.
It's more than just that. The entire crew of that Venator were clones.
Yeah.
The crewman that he ordered to open fire on the city is a clone.
My last thing for this episode before you can move on, Ross. The music was so damn good. Oh my God. There's like when you have a good score, you can make any scene just skyrocket. And the emotion in that music was so strong from the beginning to end. I loved it. I think it was probably the best music in the show so far. Like they've had some good tracks, but like this whole episode was just like a symphony of wonderful, like emotion-filled music, and I think it just elevated it to that next level.
All right, thank you, Raina. Travis, you're next.
You send me Ross.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm going to have a lot more to probably say when it comes to us, like talking about our feelings about the season as a whole. Because I'm assuming we're going to be ranking the season here shortly, right?
Yes.
Right? Sure. Yeah.
Right.
That's it. I absolutely loved this episode. I very much enjoyed it. And I'm also with Raina in that I don't really see Crosshair's rescuing of Omega really detracting from him, as it was very much like Omega saved him, like saved him earlier in the episode, and this was him, like, he straight up says, like, consider us even. Like, that was him returning the favor. And I mean, that's not the first time we have seen someone of the Empire do this. There was an entire episode actually in Rebels devoted to something like this. I can't remember the episode.
Agent Callus?
What's that?
Agent Callus?
I think so. And he was with
Zeb.
Yeah, that guy. They were on that ice planet, if I remember correctly, and like that is an arc that carried into future episodes. Like they had a kind of mutual respect for a short period of time.
He eventually joined them.
Like it shows that like they are not like the Empire is not all like heartless, soulless, like, oh, we are going to kill you if you stand up against us. Like there are people who have conscience, like good consciences in the Empire. People who believe that they are working for something good. And when they have their moments of, awakening, or when they have I mean, it's very much in some ways, it's like some of the stories you hear from World War One, like the Christmas truces of 1914, when the sides stopped fighting altogether and interacted just for that short period of time because, hey, it's Christmas. Why are we fighting? That kind of thing. Like, there are times where, enemies will see that they are, they don't
human
have
beings.
too many. Yeah, they're human beings.
You actually touched on my favorite thing. One of my favorite things about this show, not to interrupt you, Travis, but the human elements of it. These aren't just machines; they're people. They have emotions. Clones, Rex. It doesn't matter. At the end of it, these are people that are seeing these battles and these horrific acts unfold in front of them. And it's the changing of time, seeing their natural reactions to, okay, this is kind of messed up, but I feel like I don't really have a choice. It's a huge deal. Yeah. Like, we see the Empire, like, especially in the older flicks, we see these soldiers that are just following orders. And here we see, like, okay, this is kind of messed. Why am I doing this? You see a lot of people questioning orders. Like, because it's barbaric.
Good soldiers follow orders.
And you know where we start to see that again? In the sequel trilogy.
Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Travis, sorry. Please continue.
I mean, like, again, it was just, I absolutely, like, this was an episode that really didn't need too much action. Like, when it comes to a season finale like Star Wars, you expect a big, like, showdown or a big fight or a big climactic battle or, something like that. Something as glorious as the final episodes of the Clone Wars or the big old standoff in the Mandalorian and, like, seeing Moff Gideon getting all terrified when Luke is mowing down dark troopers and everything. But, I mean, the dialogue alone of this episode and the tension and the characters really, really carried this in a way that, like, no other show really has. And I cannot commend it enough for that. This was a really damn good character builder. Like, and for this to be a finale and for it to be as good as it is, I mean, like, yeah, there was definitely some, like, tension and some, like, edge of your seat moments. And, like, there were some moments I was actually, like, kind of wondering, like, are they really going to kill Crosshair off here? Or are they going to go this way? Like, I was a little concerned that I would be, like, disappointed by any choice they made. And by the time the credits rolled, I wasn't. I was just eagerly saying, like, okay, when's season 2 coming? Because it's like, I'll gush more when we're talking about the entire season. Move along. Great
Move
episode.
along,
Justin, what did you think?
Well, I thought it was a very good episode. The action was start to finish. Wasn't any slow spot at all. I almost thought we were going to get the redemption arc there for a minute for Crosshair, but I'm happy that was not the case. They tried to hint at it, but thankfully it didn't work out that way. Sorry about you all not getting your wish that Omega was going to die, Greg and Son. Not sorry, haha. But there's still season 2 for that to happen. But yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, now we got to figure out how is Crosshair going to get off the planet. How is this going to play on season 2? Is he going to find other clones and band up against the Empire? We'll have to see. It's going to be fun.
All right. Thank you, Justin. As for me, wow. I was like some of you guys, I was expecting a high energy, high action punctuation to the series, but instead we got a character driven drama that saw the entire Bad Batch trying to reconcile with each other, trying to find a way to bridge the gap with each other in one way or another. Crosshair trying to appeal to his brothers one last time to join him in the Empire, and Hunter, pretty much Hunter, Wrecker, and even Echo and Tech having their moment, trying to appeal to Crosshair to come to them. And the best moments of them all was Omega finally interacting with Crosshair. She doesn't have a history with him like she does the rest, but she treats him with empathy and compassion, caring that she does all the others, even when he's actively putting her down. You let the girl run the show. The condescension in that voice is so thick, but Omega just lets her pull off her back, and even then she still approaches him to try to get a read on him, even when he pushes her away. It was really endearing and completely in character, of course. And this whole episode was just giving them that opportunity, that confined struggle to survive that reforges those kinds of bonds. And that final moment where Crosshair did not falter from his choice. He made his choice. He made his decision. He wants to help build the Empire into something great that controls the galaxy, that enforces peace in the way that the Republic never could. Because he and the rest of the clones were forged in a time of war. They were forged to bring peace and order to the galaxy. And he sees the Empire as the most efficient way to make that happen. And understanding that gives a lot more insight into his character. The fact that it was his choice really speaks to that character in a way that makes me respect him more than it just being a compulsion by the implant. And I really like that. I like that he stuck to his guns, and I like that he's going to continue to be an antagonist going forward. Mm-hmm. All right, and last but not least, Son.
Okay, so the way you just described that, Ross, kind of reminds me of the way Joshua Graham followed Caesar in Fallout, because it wasn't their clan being absorbed by the Legion like all the other raiders are. There was just Joshua Graham believed in the guy's mission to bring peace, and was just like, yeah, no, I'm with you all the way until Caesar was just like, nah, you failed me. I'm going to burn you and then punt you off Hoover Dam.
Tar you, feather you, light you on fire, and dump you in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the whole time Travis was doing his thing about the robot lifting them up in tubes, I'm just thinking of Miss Congeniality in the club scene. Can we get another tubey thing?
They escaped the secret lab by floating up to the ocean surface in cloning tubes.
Yeah.
Kind of a rebirth, a symbolic rebirth.
I I will say that I did like Crosshair's whole thing about the Empire before we move on. It's just like, he's like basically telling Hunter, dude, they have all the cards. They have all the power. I want in on that. Why wouldn't you want in on that? What is wrong with you? Like, come on. We got cookies, like I said.
It's because the Bad Batch has watched what the Empire has systematically done since taking over with all of those cards.
Meanwhile, Crosshair is the one who's been executing,
issuing those orders.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, the season as a whole. Let's get a quick recap of the season, what you guys thought, and a rating using whatever scale you choose. Let's lead with Justin. You're muted.
Muted.
That's another compilation you guys need to make, whoever does that.
Anyways, so about, it started off really strong. A couple of slow episodes in between. I mean, overall, it's been a very good season for the show. It's definitely kept us on edge and wanting more, which it did its job. I am wondering where you're going to take it on the season 2. Is kind of left it open with just getting off the planet. Nothing really else progressing with their storyline other than what just happened between them Crosshair. So season 2 is going to be open with the whole squad. So it's going to be interesting to see where they start off. If they start immediately off next season, or if we catch up with them a few years on down the line. Which I hope they do that. That'd be kind of neat. But we'll see. Has there been any details on when season 2 is coming out?
Not that I've heard.
No, nothing yet.
As a rating,
I think
there was a couple of slow episodes that really just didn't make sense. But every show kind of has a filler. It was still good in its own right. But I would give overall. I think I am happy giving it a 8.5 out of 9. Overall.
All right.
9? Okay.
Reina, your quick thoughts on the series as a whole and your rating.
It's a fun show. It's very fast paced. There was I can think of probably only 2 episodes that I felt were just mediocre. The show as a whole is really good. Great characters, great storylines, and honestly, I actually hope for season 2 that they have more cameos and more tie-ins to what we know is going on behind the scenes. We've already had a lot of Rebels Easter eggs and a lot of, going back to future movies, like the setups and the foundations for that. So I think it's solid. I can't wait to see where they go with it. Let your creativity fly. And honestly, more empire building, like the small things like the currency exchange, the change from clones to Rex. That stuff is interesting. I find that stuff really engaging. I'm going to give it 8 hello there's out of 10.
General Kenobi.
Oh no! I didn't have it ready.
Hello,
Travis.
All right, I'm gonna get bold here. You guys know just how much I personally love the Clone Wars.
Yes.
I rave about this show quite often on this podcast. Being a big Trekkie, that should say something. When the Bad Batch were first introduced in the Clone Wars, I never saw this show coming. I thought the Bad Batch was just kind of a throwaway arc, a way to get them to test the waters of their final season, and it was a fun arc. But it didn't, it just never really, I never really saw much outside that. When this show was announced, I didn't have a lot of, I didn't really know what to think. But I was definitely excited because, hey, I love the show's team. The creative team behind these shows does a fantastic job. And while we had mediocre episodes this season, they were few and far between, and they were nowhere near as bad as some of the completely forgettable episodes of the Clone Wars. When this season premiered, I went on a limb and said that it was one of the best pilot episodes that I had ever seen, period. And I still kind of stand by that. The season is now over. And I'm telling you right now that this show has the potential to be even better than the Clone Wars. And that is not, like, I am not saying that lightly. I did not see this coming.
I would even hazard to say even better than Clone Wars and Rebels combined.
It's bold. It's taking risks. It is setting like so much, like there is some familiarity, but there is just as much like new territory to be explored. The fact that they have in such a short time really established these characters, their dynamics with one another, their conflicts, their personalities. It's impressive. Like, this is something that the Clone Wars did not get right until 3 or 4 seasons in. And I love that show, but they had a rough start, and it just feels like they hit all the right cylinders here. Because again, I am willing to bet that this might be one of the absolute best Star Wars shows you'll ever see. If not like in the top 10 at the very least, depending on how many shows we get. Because right now, if we take every single Star Wars show in existence, it is easily my favorite. It is better than The Mandalorian. It is better, like it might be better than the Clone Wars. It's better than what I've seen of Rebels. It's absolutely phenomenal. And it just barely misses that 10 out of 10 from me. It is a solid 9.5 out of me from me. Like this, I really love this, and I cannot wait to see where they take this show. I expect great things.
All right. Thank you, Travis. Greg.
Overall as a season recap, I mean, yeah, I'll jump off the filler train, but as far as bad episodes go, I can honestly say there weren't bad episodes. Fillers, sure, but bad episodes, I can honestly say there wasn't a bad episode in the series. And just to see the work done with the animation, the storyline we got, I mean, giving us a child character that wasn't a Mary Sue, that wasn't, oh, she's sensitive with the Force, oh, she's done this. She was just another clone, and she just happens to be she just happened to be older than them. She was created first, and she's the older sister, if you will. All right. I love how I believe it was Tech or Echo pointed out. It's like, well, technically, she's older than all of us.
Yeah.
And she very much is. I think she stole the show more or less. Just like, I mean, Hunter's my favorite character, but she definitely stole the show with her, ingenuity and her quick thinking, especially that she picked up on everything quick that they taught her. As far as the season, come on, Fennec Shan getting her start, if you will, Cad Bane. I mean, just seeing the Empire build, just like it was great. It was an enjoyable season. For me personally, Mandalorian is still the top-notch Star Wars series out there. Bad Batch for me, though, is pulling number 2 until Ahsoka and Boba Fett come out. But as far as a rating for the season, I'm gonna have to give it, and Raina, you're gonna shoot me. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 hungry baby Grogu's.
All right, Greg.
You are made of stupid.
Oh, knock it off. All right. Thank you, Greg.
Yep.
As for me, I really, really enjoyed this series. It was such a treat to see the immediate impact of the end of the Clone Wars from the very first scene. The intro to the series was the Clone Wars logo burning away to reveal the Bad Batch in a beautiful moment of foreshadowing.
Yep.
The development that we got of these clones, their growing relationship with Omega, and the coming together of their found family, so to speak, and its growing opposition to Crosshair, as well as the insight into how the Empire asserted itself as it rose from the Republic was great to see. The cameos from both Clone Wars and upcoming Rebels was great. And I think my favorite quote review of the series was, "It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meets Star Wars." Being a TMNT fan, I appreciated that a lot because, you know, it's kind of true. Each of the four remaining Batchers do kind of mirror that dynamic.
They are always hungry for food. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, Hunter is most definitely Leonardo.
Yeah.
Wrecker is definitely, well, kind of a mix of Raphael and Michelangelo. Tech is definitely Donatello. Yeah. And Echo really isn't Donatello.
Okay,
does that make Omega Splinter?
Omega is April
Oh my
O'Neil.
God, yes.
No, she's not.
April O'Neil.
No, she's not. No, she's not.
April,
she would even go there.
Got kidnapped all the
Dead
time.
would be Splinter.
I guess Sid's
Crosshair Shredder.
Crosshair is Shredder. Well, no, Admiral
Or Casey Jones.
Crosshair is
Bebop.
Well, I guess there really wasn't a sniper. It could kind of be Bebop or Rocksteady. Or Baxter Stockman.
Yeah.
Did you just seriously compare Crosshair to Rocksteady? Like, oh my God, I should leave now. What the
fuck? But yeah, I really like this series, and my rating.
Crosshair's the hockey guy that shows up every now and again.
Lance.
What?
My rating is 1 medium attack lance.
That's BattleTech stuff. You guys won't understand it.
Yes, I will.
That's an equivalent of a 10. That's an equivalent of a 10.
Hey Google, what the hell is with Ross's scale? What does it mean?
David Horton in the YouTube comments still need IG-88.
We got him in Mandalorian.
We did get him in Mandalorian. Yeah.
I want to see
like
Inquisitors. I want to see Inquisitors. I'm just saying.
We might.
All right. Thank you, guys. That was
working great.
Who all caught the lady at the end of the Bad Batch that looked and sounded a lot like an older version of Omega?
Yeah.
Did you?
I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure she has a name and significance.
I just took that as it's like leading Nala Say to basically help create the Dark Troopers. So maybe they'll tie that in. But that's how I took it.
That's what I'm thinking. We're getting ready to see Dark Troopers.
I'm going to make you guys do these two at some point.
Good luck.
It's going to be part of the Redeemed, Travis. We're going to set something up. You're going to have to join in with the rest of us.
Travis is the one who does it the most. He's exempt. Exactly. You do the redeem, you're exempt from the redeem. So I'm never exempt. All right, that'll wrap up our Bad Batch review for both the episode and the season. And taking its place, slotting in on the day before, is Marvel's latest series, something we've all been looking forward to. Marvel's What If?
Oh, yes.
Alternate universes, new stories, familiar characters, and we lead off appropriately with Marvel's first story of the MCU. The first Avenger, chronologically, the first Avenger.
I'll be right back. I need to run and quickly grab a battery from my phone before it dies. I'll be right back.
Okie doke. Marvel's What If is an anthology series that takes a look at alternate stories within the Marvel universe. It's a gambit of all sorts. The original comic run spans everything. One of my first ones was called Spider-Girl, where Spider-Man, Mary Jane grew up. They had a daughter, and she inherited his powers.
Hey, by the way, before we go any farther,
spoiler alert!
What if?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
There we go.
You're reviewing stuff. If you don't understand that it's going to be spoiler review, thank you, Justin. All right, so in this case, we take a look at the story of Captain America, but instead of Steve Rogers getting into the tank, we have Peggy Carter. The Nexus event that spins off this alternate take is Peggy deciding to stay on the floor instead of up in the gallery, where she is able to intercept the Hydra bomber and take him out before he's able to run off with the serum, so that Hydra never gets their hands on it. Unfortunately, this results in Steve Rogers getting shot, and Peggy decides to get in the chamber instead. Unfortunately, being a woman in the 1940s, she's not exactly treated with a great deal of respect and faces a lot of pushback from the general in charge. But eventually, like Steve before her, she asserts herself, she goes out into the field, she rescues the Tesseract and brings it back for Howard to study. He eventually builds an Iron Man suit for Steve Rogers, and together they absolutely wreck Hydra. But this ends up changing Hydra's priorities, and they tend to shift things around. And as they go to rescue the Howling Commandos, Bucky Barnes, and everybody else, they go on the mission to hijack the train where apparently Red Skull himself is supposed to be, only for it to be a trap to take out the Hydra Buster, Steve Rogers' armor. They make their final assault on the castle of Hydra Castle, where I was about to say Castle Wolfenstein.
Tomato.
Bad, Ross. Bad.
Nazis are getting punched. That's all that matters.
Yes. They're getting stomped. They make their assault. They rescue Steve, where they find that Hydra has opened a portal into an eldritch horror, and a big tentacle monster is trying to break through. It ends up crushing Red Skull, and they try to fight it off as best they can. Peggy picks up a damn sword, and I'm getting Wonder Woman deja vu.
Right?
And
are you sure it's Wonder Woman deja vu and not Hellboy? Because that literally happened to Hellboy.
That did happen in Hellboy.
It did happen in Hellboy.
Wasn't that published under a Marvel sub company?
I believe so.
Anyway, Peggy pushes the tentacle monster back through the portal, and it seals behind her, giving her final farewell to Steve as she does so. She comes out of the portal 70 years later, greeted by Nick Fury and Hawkeye, and that is the end. And before we continue, there is one thing I want to address. Apparently, there's some mild controversy over Peggy looking too muscular and masculine for a woman. And to that, Justin, if you would please, I have to say this.
Damn.
Okay, Fluffy.
All right, you can take it down now.
Hold on.
I mean, cool.
I mean, you can leave it up too. There's some people who like that kind of thing.
Hold on.
There you go. Okay, yeah, there it is.
A little late, Justin. A little late.
It's okay. Well, why is that flash?
I have a stretch redeem, so Raina, take us away. What do you think about this?
I just gotta say, please don't Riker pose on me. Come on now.
No, he was doing the Picard maneuver.
Okay. First of all,
I
fucking love that this episode actually touches on the issues of that time and actually says Nazi. Because at first I was like, Disney's gonna censor the fuck out of this. Like, they're afraid of that crap, and they were like, nope. Here you go. We don't like women, and Nazis are just evil pieces of shit, and we're going to say it. We're going to remind you how evil they are. And I was really appreciative of that. I know it's a small detail, but in complete censor culture as we're in, I really like that they did that. It's
because they're literally the major company. They're literally the sole competitor that could buy out Google. They're the only one.
No, but
they're literally allowed to make all that stuff because they can.
No, I know, but like even in the first Avenger, they really tie away from like using the word Reich or anything. And here they're like, yeah, you know what? Hitler's a piece of shit. I wish I could throw this weight in his fucking head. Like Peggy Carter actually says that. Like I
without the F-bomb.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Well, Disney had to draw the line somewhere. Nazis are okay, but the F-bomb is not.
Well, yeah, then it would be PG-13 because you only get one.
Well, I gotta say, like, I like the 1920s music for the montage. That was a really nice touch. I love the art style. I love the design of the damn suit. That was really nice. But the biggest thing that I take away from this, though, is I like that there's so many Easter eggs, though, to the actual original timeline. That they're similar, but they're not. But there's a lot of Easter eggs. And the tentacle monster is actually referenced in fucking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I kid you not. There's a whole episode about that where there's Hydra agents in that fucking other world where there is a creature like that. And I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, it inhabited the dead body of Ward.
Yeah, it was. I remember that whole thing. Sadly, I can't even forget it. But I think that my favorite part of this whole thing was when Peggy stopped that whole. I should say Captain Carter had stopped that whole damn like convoy of fucking Hydra soldiers. I just love that. And she gets to the scientist and he's like, oh, Shiza. Yeah, you're right. Like, I just love that so much. I was just laughing my ass off. And when she kicks the shit out of that big guy, like, I was just like, oh my God, I love this. So I'm going to love this show so much.
Fragile.
And she's having fun with it. Like, she's not just like hurting these guys. Like, she is destroying them. She throws a motorcycle into another motorcycle, causes an explosion, kicks another motorbike into like a watchtower. Like, I'm like, what the hell? They're just like going nuts, and she is having the best time of her life. But the music, the voice acting, the art style, I love this show so much. They got something really special here with this, and I hope they go wild with it. Like, I hope they don't go tame, because this was how they started it. I was kind of worried, like, okay, it's just going to be kind of like, you know, a character change. That's it. But everything's going to go kind of similar. They did not. They're like, you know what? Fuck the first Avenger. We're going to have tentacle monsters and just convoy rip aparts and just like hilarious jokes about how she's not strong enough yet. She's throwing weights into a wall. Like, I was just like, I love this show so much. I think it's a great start. And I'm actually kind of speechless. Like, I want to say more, but it's like really worth watching. Just aesthetically, they knew exactly what they were doing, like music and everything. And not to mention the voice actors that are even changed, like for Steve and Howard Stark, like they're good. They're like really good and close.
Howard didn't change. I think it was still Dominic Cooper.
Oh no, I'm not thinking of Howard. I'm thinking of the Red Skull. They used
they
used Infinity War and End games, but like they're good. They're fantastic.
It's a shame that Hugo Weaving didn't come back.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. He's like devilishly good, but I'm saying like they do a really good job, and I hope Marvel starts doing more crazy stuff like this, because it's well timed that after Endgame that they get out of their comfort zone again and start pushing some boundaries, and I feel like this is the best way to do it.
All right, thank you, Rena. Travis, how about you?
I guess I'm gonna go ahead and play a soft contrarian here.
No, don't do this to me, buddy.
Here it comes.
Marvel's What If feels very safe. Like, I look at this show almost the way I would a typical episode of a Star Trek Mirror Universe episode. I don't really see what the point is too much, because by the end of the episode, it's not going to have an impact on the stories that you care about, the stories that you invest time in, the stories that you will continuously like, oh my God, what's it gonna happen in this next movie? How is that going to affect this going forward? Like, sure, with the multiverse now going out from Loki and everything, it's very plausible that we will see some of these stories, potentially be referenced or even like make a difference in the general timeline or whatever. But I mean, I feel like a good amount of these are just going to be like just like stories that by the time the credits roll will be just there. They won't really matter. And like, again, I'm not going to say that the show is bad, because it's not. I think the animation is brilliant. I think the story was very fun, though I do believe it was a little too over the top. Like, one of the reasons I like Captain America: The First Avenger is because it's very grounded in its origin story. I mean, yeah, you got Steve becoming a super soldier and everything, but I mean, other than that, it's very like grounded in its story and its conflict and everything. And so when I see Red Skull summoning Cthulhu from this portal and World War II Iron Man and everything like that, I just kind of think to myself, like, this is just a little too much, Marvel. This is just a little too much. Like, I feel like it just is trying to be a little too over the top or too exciting or whatever. And in the same way, I feel like they don't they don't take enough risks with the show. Like, they could have had some really potentially like dark storytelling here. Like, at the very start, I want to know what could have happened if Steve didn't survive that attack. I want to see seeing them bring Steve, seeing them recreate the train thing from First Avenger, and seeing them like take Steve into custody only to have him still be the good guy. I get that Steve is this pure-hearted guy who can lift Mjolnir, and I love him for it. But I would have liked to see what potentially, like, if they could have corrupted him. I would have liked to see, just a bit more like daring, like, what if scenarios, I guess. Because I mean, if they're going to be giving us, I don't know how many episodes are going to be giving us here, but I mean, like, I would like to see more than just simple, like, oh, what if these good guys did this instead of this good guy or whatnot? Like, really get bold, get risky.
If I may interject here,
Go for it.
I feel like I think they did the right thing, that it's not connected to our main MCU. And the reason why is it's nice to have a story where I'm not worried about a damn timeline change. It's nice to just go into this and have fun and see explosions and see craziness and see. The thing is we need to stop connecting this to the first Captain America movie. This is Peggy. This is how Peggy would have done things. Steve is a completely different person. Steve sees these, like, even the Nazis, like, he doesn't kill anyone. He sees them as people. Peggy's been in this war a lot longer and involved a lot longer and has seen a lot of death. Of course she's going to have fun killing Nazis BJ Blazkowicz style. Like, of course she's going to have fun with that. Like, that's a given. The thing with the tentacle monster,
I now need to see that fight scene dubbed with Doom music.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
But the other big thing that with the tentacle monster and everything, it's symbolic in Hydra's history. It's symbolic of who they are. And it's kind of funny that the Red Skull gets killed by something that basically they worship. And the thing is it's nice to have fun again. Like, after Infinity War and Endgame, we were talking about playing it safe. after that, like they like hit their peak and they have been playing it safe. Like I will say, Black Widow and Spider-Man and all them, they are safe as hell movies. But this feels so fresh and it feels nice. It's a nice breath of fresh air again. And it's something that you can sit down, grab popcorn, and just enjoy. It feels like a summer flick on its own. It may not be First Avenger, but it's Sharknado fun. I will say that. Like, it's just you go in, you watch Nazis get punched, you laugh, and you just keep laughing. It's great. I love it. It doesn't need to always have serious ramifications.
And I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I mean, and I gotta agree with both of you on a little bit, but here's the thing, that's what makes this nice. It's its own unique thing. They can do whatever the hell they want with this. We could have a whole separate story off of the main MCU. This is something new.
I'm not. Travis, can you wrap up your thoughts so we can get to the next?
Yeah, we're going on 2 hours.
But yeah, I'm not saying it needs like ramifications. I'm just like, again, like I just don't really see myself really going out of my, like, getting super excited about this show, because again, like, just knowing that it's not going to matter in the long run for the most part is just, I'm just kind of can't help but ask myself why I should give my time for this. Like, I mean, like, I have no idea if I'm making sense. It's just one of those things.
I understand what you're saying. Since it doesn't impact the greater universe as a whole, it doesn't interest you as much.
Yeah, it's like, and I mean, I'll watch it. The animation is beautiful, and the stories are fun. I do believe that they got a little pretentious in some areas, if that's the right word, with this episode. But I mean, I also understand why certain choices were made or why certain things were said and everything like that. And again, it was a fun episode. But I do hope that they get a little bit more bold with it moving forward.
Just wait until it's season 2 when they make the episode where Rocket Raccoon and Howard the Duck join the Eternals.
All right, Justin, let's hear yours.
All right, so this was actually, pretty nice and unique. It was a unique take on the whole Captain America storyline. It's something I hope Marvel gets a little bit more riskier with. I do agree with some of the statements that they have been playing at the safe game. So hopefully, they see how popular this is and they decide to, keep going this route, because it's nice to kind of throw a monkey wrench into things and watch it go awry every once in a while. Yeah, it might be a mirror universe episode, but mirror universe episodes are fun. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to find. I mean, what if you progress that timeline up to current time with Tony Stark? What's he going to be like in that timeline?
That's not necessarily true. You know exactly what's going to happen in a mirror universe episode. Betrayal, torture, backstabbing, and then something that just makes the episode end for some reason.
And a key character dying. If it's DS9, one of the Ferengi.
Oh yeah, Nick Fury's gonna die. I call it now.
Son, did you watch What If?
Nope.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Greg, what did you think of the episode?
I absolutely enjoyed the hell out of it. It was what I expected and hoped. Getting to see Peggy get her moment. Since the show was canceled, since her show was actually canceled and all that, but see Peggy sit there and be like, I got this. And basically does Steve Rogers better than Steve Rogers in a sense. Like, Rogers did this and knew that he had to, in the first Avenger, he the pure-hearted guy, and defended what he had to defend. Peggy, when she's laying out the Nazis on that convoy, she's a kid. She's like, I didn't know I could do that. I'm going to keep doing it, and just absolutely kept brawling them down. She's enjoying herself, and I know you shouldn't enjoy yourself hurting other humans, but they're Nazis, so it's fair game.
No sympathy.
No, exactly. But she's absolutely thrilled, enjoying her stuff. I mean, in the back of my head, I'm thinking this Captain Carter is worthy of Millionaire. She would be the other captain if you were to pick up Millionaire. It's like the way she was in this episode. And my treat was Howard Stark. Just absolutely coming up to her, be like, really? I don't want to talk to you. He goes, really? Then you don't want this suit? Oh, hey, you don't want this shield? It's like, here you go. And basically being the unintentional sidekick, and he's just totally cool with it. Doing the typical scientist, I can't read this, but I'm going to start pushing buttons to reverse that.
I just love when it's like, I'm not a fighter, I'm a button pushing kind of guy.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to more of this, and I do love that it is part of MCU canon. Feige and Marvel confirmed that it is part of their initial canon, so it will be interesting that when Multiverse of Madness comes out, that if they are going to touch on this, I think when these timelines cross over, since we're getting Far From Home and we're getting Garfield and Maguire back, okay, when Multiverse of Madness comes out, we're going to get like a scene where we see, Peggy as Captain America, Captain Carter. So
we're gonna get the Spider-Man
meme. Exactly. And to the haters dissing Peggy's body, I mean, girl looks good. I mean, I'd let her throw the shield at me. I'm just saying.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it's actually funny that people are pissed off about this, because as soon as I saw, I'm like, oh man, the woke crowd is gonna be very, very, very mad about this. I think like it fit for what they were trying to go for. Like it wasn't over the top. It was just like, yeah, she was swole, but I mean,
in a way,
2 feet taller.
That's only not. That's not a gripe, but that's the only thing that was kind of like, okay, she's taller. That was my only takeaway. Was I didn't know she was like that much buffer. I was just like, she's taller, and then it's like, hey, do you want to get out of those heels? That was a great comment.
Honestly, all concern of that went away as soon as she body checked a truck.
Yeah,
I was like, that was fucking awesome. You've never seen Steve do that shit before. Like, I'm just saying.
Mean, to all the woke haters, I'm like, there's nothing woke about you hating on a buff woman who's taller. That's just insecure at that point.
I was seriously like, now that I hear about that, it's like my mind is just going back to The Last of Us 2 with Abby, like where people were like, that's just improbable.
People complaining that she's too muscular and not feminine enough aren't the woke crowd. It's the opposite side.
I hate to break it to those people, but she is still feminine enough. I mean, don't tell me she's not going to want to slap a dress back.
Dude, she was a fucking Amazon when she stepped out of that chamber.
Agile. She was fucking agile and just full on. Like, I was getting Wonder Woman vibes. Like, even if they were trying to get that feel, like they nailed it. It was fucking awesome.
So, especially when she had the sword.
Yeah.
Yes.
My takeaway with it was seeing her come back to a year. I guess, how would we put it? I guess a year prior, a year after, with her being brought back in 2012, clearly worth where the Tesseract is at, and just almost having the exact same reaction. I had a date, so she's like that.
What I'm hearing from all of you guys is less that she was Wonder Woman and more that she was the She-Ra that we deserve to get from Netflix.
Yes. Yes.
This was this should have been what Wonder Woman 84 was not.
You know what? There was only one thing that I would want to see as a post-credit scene. It's just her having the snarky banter from Avengers 1 with Tony Stark. Like, I'm just saying, like them fighting. Like, I want to see that. Like, because that snark that he had.
Because she could play out. She could play on the insecurities.
Tony Stark's attitude towards Peggy would be a little different. He'd flirt first. And then she'd punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Now
she would let the first one. She would let the first flirt fly. But he doesn't. She would let the first flirt fly, and at that point, then she'd punch him.
it'd be like what happened with Black Widow in the Iron Man movie.
Yeah, and Iron Man 2 with Happy. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Like, I just think of Avengers 1 as well. Another good scene is when Iron Man fights Thor. And just hitting the shield.
I can't wait for episode 6 when Tony and Pepper accidentally get caught in this weirdo dimensional vortex, and suddenly they wind up in a castle with another Miss Potts.
Oh no, not pepperoni.
Is that a Beauty and the Beast joke?
No.
Yes, it was.
Anyway, Anyway,
Tony and Pepper stuck in the Beauty and the Beast castle with Mrs. Potts and the candelabra and all that. That would be hilarious.
Yep, that was good, Justin. That was good.
It's stop it from Justin. Wow.
It's literally called What If. I mean, if anything, what Leia said about like fanfic running wild, there you go. There's an episode for you. Make it happen.
And my health, I just want to touch on like with what Travis said, them playing it safe. Them doing Captain Carter first was not playing it safe in the terms of a story. This, and I like that it did piss off people because it just shows the ignorant side of people, but it pissed off a lot of people. I'm like, see, that's good. And then of course, everybody was complaining that Jeffrey Wright is Uatu. I'm like, that's a perfect choice to play the Watcher. He had like the second I heard his voice intro the episode, I'm like, I'm glued. I'm like, I'm ready. So I'm like, that with Haley Atwell coming back and playing Peggy, and then Jeffrey Wright, I'm like, this is a great episode, a great way to start off. And I'm just like, they can get darker from here, and they're going to, because we know they're going to bring the zombies into this.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. We don't get no ash from the Evil Dead though, so this is a 0 out of 10.
I really, really love this episode. The story we've ranted and raved about all the nice things about it, but it's the animation and the art style that really got me into it. I'm a big sucker for animation. I love animated TVs and movies and everything that they can do that live action cannot. And when Peggy throws a punch in this, it has weight. The sound design and the animators too. When she is slinging those heavy weights into the damn wall, you feel it both in the sound and in the way that the perspective kind of shakes. And then at first you just see that one, and then the camera pans slightly, and you see all of the rows of weights that she's thrown into the wall. It's a fun mirror of that first scene in the Avengers where where Steve was pounding the punching bag until he knocks it down, and then added something to it. So instead of rows of wrecked punching bags, it's a wall full of weights that she threw like a damn discus. And then later on, that weight continues as she is just sucker punching Nazis left and right when she's shoulder checking trucks and throwing motorcycles across a courtyard, absolutely wrecking these soldiers left and right. In every fight she does this, and it's beautiful.
He is her own.
If I may, with seeing Peggy's actions in this one, I honestly want to say I think she'd be stronger than Steve Rogers, Captain America.
I think she was.
I think I honestly would have to say that she's stronger.
Greg, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say is like Steve would restrain himself. Peggy would not.
Peggy did not.
Okay, if I may, Peggy didn't restrain herself because she didn't have the the discipline, I guess Steve might have, because Steve was docile. Peggy was excited, and it's not that she wasn't not that she wouldn't back down, but she was excited. Steve wasn't excited per se, but Peggy was definitely like, "Ooh, I have toys. Ooh, I could do this."
You know what?
Keep in mind, Peggy did shoot at Steve in the first Avenger.
Oh yeah, straight up, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will say another clever thing with the show, and I bet you guys appreciated it like I do. I love the hilarious transitions.
Oh yeah.
Like my favorite one is with the scientist, like, I'll never tell you what I know. Just
he told me everything.
He told me everything. You just hear this loud sound, like she messed him up, and it was like, yeah, you told me everything. And I just love those skip aheads. They're so clever.
Yeah. My favorite quote from the episode though, she saves Bucky. Man, you could have torn my arm off. That was my favorite one.
I was having the Tony moment, like, we saw it, you didn't think we noticed it, but we did.
Exactly.
I love
so
that.
What it sounds like is that Peggy's strength and just ability to just be like this hulking mass. You had a lot more fun with it in this than you did when you watched Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, 100%. This show, that's the thing that I like about it, is it feels like a fun Saturday morning cartoon.
It didn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, I actually like that it doesn't doesn't care. Like the body count, none of that matters. Like I had fun watching her just kick the shit out of Nazis. Like I was having Wolfenstein flashbacks of just kicking Hitler in the face. Like I was like,
the planes.
The planes.
Yes.
The planes. There was an action sequence where she's riding on the back of Steve's Iron Man suit that they called the Hydra Smasher, where they ride up into a flight of German bombers. She jumps off of Steve's back, goes through the cockpit of a bomber, beats the crap of everyone inside, busts out the tail end, jumps into the air, lands, tears through the propeller of a fighter, smashes her through the cockpit to knock out the pilot, rips him out, and throws him out the back end. There is nothing necessary about any of it. It is gratuitous, but not gory. So it's incredibly satisfying to watch.
And the music is so good. They do the 1920s music, or the 1940s music, which I was just in love with. I was like, oh, this is perfect. It just added to that scene so much.
She was being Batman.
And I need to say,
she was brutalizing these people.
Leah's
Ben Affleck's Batman of all
comment
Batmans.
is 10 out of 10. That is an Iron Giant suit.
Even Kevin Conroy's Batman brutalized those guys.
True, yeah, true.
I won't kill them, but I will give them a severe brain injury. There's a difference.
Will lash him brutally.
All right. So, are you guys excited?
Okay. Okay. So now I've got an entirely other episode in mind for What If.
Uh-oh.
You have Robert Downey Jr. back as Stark, right? For an episode. And everything that he does is Tony Stark in that episode. He's inner monologuing like Sherlock Holmes from the film.
Oh, Christ. There is a Tony Stark episode where he's rescued by Killmonger.
Yes.
That's going to be interesting.
Very interesting.
All right,
I'm actually curious about the Marvel Zombies because that's like one of my favorite comic series of Marvel. Like, just as someone is like, that was like What If before What If. Like, I cannot wait to see that.
You kill 14 of them and you get a UAV deploy.
All right, so safe to say we're all looking forward to the rest of the series.
I mean, if they don't do this at least once in Zombies, I will be mad.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Spoiler, the zombies eat Galactus.
Oh,
the
that's
nuke's
fun.
not going to bug them.
I fucking hate zombies.
Anyway.
So, Travis, you want to play a zombie game?
No.
Oh, another Disney crossover for that. The zombies are all made by the voodoo dude from The Princess and the Frog.
No more Z words.
Baron Zombie. All right, guys. Thank you for your impressions of Captain Carter and Marvel's What If. All right. And now for the other one.
Oh, God.
The one we've all been looking forward to the most, except Greg. Star Trek Lower Decks Season 2.
All right. Ross, are you going to be doing the recap here?
No.
You're not.
Why are you not beaming in?
Huh?
Why are you not beaming in? Beaming,
what?
Beaming.
Energizing the intro from Jerry O'Connell.
Oh
my God!
I wanted that for the show intro.
You know what I just realized, guys?
What?
Not once have we flashed the spoiler alert warning.
We did
once.
Once
was enough. Once was enough.
Once was enough.
I guess I missed it.
And plus, I realized that I actually included it on the banner this time. So if they didn't see it whenever on a YouTube thumbnail,
oh, there it is.
Well, I guess
then hey.
All right, here we go. Greg, why don't you take us through the recap of this episode?
Really?
Yes.
While you do that,
do it.
Hold on.
Ross, you're going to be doing this, and you'll understand why.
Squats. It's leg day.
Leg day was yesterday for me.
Do the right, Ross.
Okay, I would rather do the review versus the recap. So I think I'd rather have Travis do the recap, and I'll do my review after Travis.
Okay.
Well, good,
If I
'cause
have
I
to
was
do
just
another
gonna do this
recap,
for
I
you.
can do that.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll give my review first after Travis does the recap.
You give my girl
Travis
Mariner
is
some
good at
love.
recap. That's going to be your thing for
We
now.
see ourselves in a dark room. A Cardassian enters the room. There's a figure in a hood in a chair. The hood is revealed to be Beckett Mariner. You're done with those squats already? I thought you
12
did it for like...
squats.
Wait, Mariner
And,
said that?
and there's 4 life.
So this Cardassian's like, you're going to tell me everything, Beckett Mariner. And she's like, no, I'm not, because it's a holodeck and it's leg day. And she breaks out of this Cardassian prison and she talks about how she's frustrated how she's working too closely with her mother, and the line between captain and mother is being blurred. And then Jennifer interrupts the program. She's like, you fucking work out to like Cardassian prison breaks? I just do yoga. And I laughed real hard at that. And she's like, well, I guess I got to go up to the captain's ready room now. And so they go to the captain's ready room, and they're doing second contact on a planet called Apergos. And Mariner and Freeman are doing their mom and daughter thing, and they forget that Captain Ransom is standing in the room. And he's like, I used to be your number one. You guys don't even notice me anymore. I'm like the Sean P. O'Halloran of this show now.
Wow.
Is Sean watching? Is Sean watching?
Shots fired. Shots fired.
I hope he is. He's gonna come back with a vengeance. Jesus.
I'm sure
Shots
he will,
fired.
but it's all in good fun, I'm sure. Anyway, Ransom's kind of annoyed that he's kind of been on the back burner more often than not, and Mariner's like, hey, Mom, can I power wash a few buildings? And I can't help but feel like Power Wash Simulator has gotten popular at just the most convenient time as this episode airing. For those of you who don't know, Markiplier has been streaming this game called Power Wash Simulator for a very long time now. And it's strangely satisfying to watch. And so Mariner asks, can I power wash a couple buildings? And Freeman's like, yeah, you go ahead and do that. As Starfleet, I can't authorize it, but as your cool mom, go do it. And so she's like, okay, Ransom, you gotta Ransom tries to keep her on the mission, and she's like, no, I'm doing what I want because I'm Beckett Mariner, motherfucker. She doesn't say that, but she power washes a building and she uncovers this orb which reacts to the sun and bestows Ransom with these godlike powers, and he becomes Gary Mitchell 2.0. And it's absolutely silly, and we absolutely love it. And he goes all godlike, and everyone's like, what do we do? How do we control this? How do we do this? And while this is happening, Carol Freeman's husband, Admiral Freeman, contacts the ship. He's like, hey, if you keep your record clean, you might be in line for a promotion to a capital ship. And Freeman's like, fuck! Get the situation controlled now! And they're like, well, how did they defeat Gary Mitchell? Kirk smushed him with a boulder. And so Tana goes to find a boulder, and Ransom's power just grows and grows and grows, and he creates this race of Ransomites, and he starts creating his own personal utopia of a bunch of workout equipment, and his head separates from his body and gets real super big and starts to try to eat the Cerritos. And they just try all these different things to just try and get him to calm the fuck down, and nothing's working. And so finally, Freeman has to admit that she has been putting him on the back burner, and he doesn't deserve that. And the validation feels so nice, and the power starts to diminish. But Mariner gives her the warning that he's basically a godlike being, and you can't keep appealing to his ego because he's going to just demand more. And sure enough, he's like, I want to be the captain of Cerritos. She's like, no, I'm the captain. No, I want to be the captain. No, I'm the captain. This is my ship, mister. And I'll address that comment shortly. And eventually, like, the head just like gets super, super big, and but
Crow's hands.
Eventually, Mariner's like, fuck it, I'm gonna kick him in the balls, and she starts kicking him in the balls. And he's like, oh, and that actually diminishes his power. And whenever it starts to reemerge, she kicks him in the balls again and again and again and again, and it is just delightfully silly. Ransom
and then they
makes a
grab
full
Boulder.
recovery. Freeman and Mariner decide that they will only do some side missions moving forward because they just cannot stand each other like at the hip as much as they think they can. And Mariner's taken to the brig, and she's like, I'm gonna keep doing what I want. And they and there's a B plot that I haven't touched on yet. Tendi thinks that Rutherford has SMD, synthetic memory degradation, which is a cyborg disorder where basically your brain melts.
Through your nose.
And she
Out of your
tries
nose.
to save him, but turns out he doesn't have it. She's just really worried that he'll stop liking her, and they have a very, very, very cute moment, and it's delightful. And the episode ends with them all in the brig, reminiscing about how much they miss Boimler and how he must be having the time of his life over on the Titan. And we fast forward over to Boimler, who is screaming in terror as they are being attacked by all these Pakled ships, and they're going straight for an anomaly. And Riker is just throwing out jazz terminology, and Boimler has no idea what the hell he's talking about, and the episode ends.
Well, actually, no. Riker says, I love this job as they're getting stretched into infinity.
Which is definitely something Riker would say.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So
So
before we go any further, I know exactly what could have been said about the what did Kirk do scene with the captain to make it 1,000 times better. So it's like, oh, Kirk smashed him in the head with a boulder, and the captain goes, "Okay, quick, where's the nearest Gorn?" See?
Well, Travis missed the part where they actually did drop a boulder on them at the end. It was like as soon as Beckett knocked him out, the guy coming in with the boulder and a forklift, they just dropped it on him.
Yeah, I did forget to say that. Ta'ana does actually bring in a boulder on a forklift, and it's after that everything starts to revert back to normal. So
rocks pure godhood, apparently.
2 for 2, right? Fixes anything.
Thank you, Travis, for that recap. I think that's going to be your role going forward. Your recaps are awesome.
Yes,
try.
All right, I loved this. Lower Decks returns in its stride, almost exactly as we left it, which is incredible. It's fun to see that development between Mariner and Freeman. That maintaining the commitment to work together, but also still be their own people. They kind of went too far and backed up a bit. Ransom taking on strange energy was great, of course. And the B plot between Tendi and Rutherford was interesting. Tendi being kind of the worst kind of toxic friend, yet being completely accepted by Rutherford, is actually quite matching their characters perfectly.
It's wholesome.
Pears
Yeah.
are awesome.
The only thing that would have made this episode better is if Q would have showed up and gotten
No,
owned
the thing
by
that would have
Ransom.
made this episode better was to actually see fucking cetacean ops instead of just having it referenced
We
constantly.
need to see cetacean ops. I swear.
Show
to
me the
God,
damn
if we
whales.
don't-
Show me the dolphins.
Stop teasing us, Mike.
Well, I mean, they did show us some space whales on the art on the planet whenever Beckett was
Power washing.
power washing. So, I mean, they're hinting at it strongly. We might just get to see it.
One thing I did note is that the planet that they were visiting still looked fairly primitive, with the big smokestacks in the background belching pollutants up into the air. So they must have gained warp drive quite dramatically.
We have seen
Ferengi-
we have seen the Federation add a planet soon after warp drive a couple other times. Insurrection was a prime example. It's like they just achieved warp drive last year. Well, yeah, it's quick.
It's also possible that the Ferengi sold it to them.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, it's good to see Lower Decks back in stride. It's nice to see Boimler seemingly enjoying his time on the Titan, and of course Riker being himself. All right, Greg, let's start with you.
Oh God! So I felt my brain was gonna melt out of my nose after watching this episode.
Justin, come on.
I was just like, what the hell is going on? Like, I was just trying to wrap my head around it. I'm like, I hate this episode. I hate it. And I was like, I kept watching. And then so I'm just like, okay, so I'm just gonna give it the whole thing. Oh, hey, Mike. Lower Decks was freaking amazing. It was I love the show. It was a great season opener.
Hi, Leah.
I got paid to say nice things about Lower Decks. So see, I haven't been.
Who's paying you? Let us know. We'll say it. We want to get paid too.
Yes. PayPal.
This episode needed more Boimler for me, but
I have a PayPal link down there on Twitch.
I so much with this episode. I was trying to enjoy it. I really was. I'll say this: Mariner should not be in Starfleet. I will excuse like Tendy's behavior, Boimler, but Mariner should not be in Starfleet. Like, she's just not a Starfleet officer. But I did like the B story between Tendy and Rutherford. That was fun. Like, it's like, okay, she's being the overzealous, jealous person because like, oh, I'm going on this third date, and as second he says third date, she starts flipping. Besides the whole eating the pears thing, which spoiler alert, pears are awesome. Just throwing it out there.
Doctor Who reference.
I did appreciate that. Rutherford and Tendy, for me, kind of stole the episode. I love Jerry O'Connell. I can't hate on Ransom too much. I mean, he does get kicked in the side, like, oh yeah, you mean nothing. Even though you're my first officer, you're the senior officer. My daughter's opinion means more. I was like, ow, okay. Now I see why Ransom went on a power trip. So, of course, the callbacks are plenty. The whole drop a rock. It's like, okay, we get it. Just, it was just so much. Like my brain was like, okay, it's almost over. It's almost over. It's like this was like the longest 24 minutes of my life with this episode. Of trying to watch it, but overall, for what it is, as just taking it straight as an animated show that's supposed to be funny, it did well. I still stand by Mariner. It's just like it rubs me the wrong way, but everyone else is everyone's great. Again, Rutherford for me is a other than Boimler, I like Rutherford. Tendy is just like neurotic mess most of the time, but she works. So yeah. I know somebody wants to drop a rock on me right now.
No.
No.
We value all opinions, even if they're bad ones.
So
it's like Orville sucks, and I'm putting complaint emails up to people who send hate mail to Greg at this address.
All right, thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
Justin, let's hear from you.
Well, for a season opener, I was expecting a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more. I expected Boimer to be in it a tad more than what he was. I mean, we got to see him as a hologram during the holodeck sequence, which was fucking awesome with that Reliant class ship and the Brandon class ship that no one mentioned at all. I mean, that was an awesome sequence. With the Dominion and the Cardassian and the Four Lights. No one mentioned the Four Lights. They've seen that as a gag. Nobody has mentioned that. I mean, callbacks in this episode.
There was a lot going on in that intro.
Yeah, there was. And there's plenty of callbacks to go at. I'm sure how they mentioned.
Who would have thought a Cardassian captain would make a good counselor for Mariner?
Would not have made a good helm
That's kind of
officer.
touching base on what Crisis Point from last season was. Like the whole like she does her therapy through these, crazy experiences. Like and I mean it works for her. So I thought that was a really nice subtle touch for that. But I mean
Yeah,
back to
I
what
mean,
you
I
were saying,
like the way they did it. That was pretty cool. Got to see the Ewok bridge again, which was awesome. We haven't seen that bridge since Star Trek 3, so that was kind of cool that they recreated it just for that. And I mean, the story was, I mean, we knew the whole Mother Collar thing wasn't going to last forever. There's just no way. I have a feeling on how Flamer's going to end up coming back, and it's going to be because he gets into trouble on a Titan, or he decides that he's just not comfortable on a Titan and wants to go back to Cerritos.
I really hope he doesn't come back. Not for this. Not because I don't like Lord X. Having him on another ship and letting the show go two different places works out a lot. Especially since Mariner knows Riker and Boimer is now a lieutenant junior grade. So it's like the show can do a lot focusing on those two characters. I mean, I honestly think the next episode is going to focus on Boimer because that's where it ended. So we'll see what happens with the Titan. But I hope Boimer stays on the Titan. That would be a good way to explore that character.
The previews for the next episode do focus on Boimler.
What if they swap places with Beckett on the Titan and Boimer back on Cerritos?
Well, there is that picture that shows Beckett getting a yellow uniform. So my guess she might be switching to engineering or security, but there is a picture floating with Lower Decks that she gets to change the uniform.
Again.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Raina, let's hear from you.
I loved it. Me and Travis actually binged the first season. So when I came into this, I was kind of like, I still don't think this opening is as strong as the first season. But I mean, of course, the first season had to have a good opening. But it's not a bad one. And actually, I kind of just three big things for me. One, I love that one of the most powerful weapons is concentrated force to someone's neutral zone. That's hilarious. Second, I love that he becomes full-on Andros from Star Fox.
Pretty much.
That's right. Oh my god, that's right.
Not pixelated. Not pixelated.
Yeah. And
the remaster.
Also, earlier in the Super Geeks chat, we almost had a Marvel Civil War situation because fuck pears. They're terrible. They're coarse and they get everywhere. No, but seriously,
the best one of all is Tom Pears.
Oh no!
Wait. He even has a plate and everything, guys.
No,
don't worry. It's two
sorry, son.
Okay, no.
I will actually say that it's funny because I love Mariner to death, and I know that it drives Greg crazy, and that's probably why I like her a little bit more now. I just love that there's zero fucks given, and it's fun. I don't know if it's because I'm just binging TNG where everyone is very protocol heavy, but it's kind of nice to say something. Fuck the rules, do what I want, literally. No, but it's funny because I'm saying I would really like to be a Mariner type of person, but let's be honest, I'm a Tendi for sure. Tendi is so wholesome and caring about everyone, and I just love the whole dynamic of everyone in this show. It's funny to me. aesthetically it's good. I miss a lot of references, of course, because I haven't watched all the way through. But I feel like even as someone who hasn't watched a lot, there's enough humor here to
You can
keep
still
you
enjoy
going.
it.
Oh yeah, I love it though. But Mirror makes me laugh. Oh. But I did enjoy it a little bit with Boimler just losing his shit and Riker just having like the best time of his life with everything going awry. Like that was just great.
I will say this: Lower Decks, Star Trek has a very good habit of not miscasting roles. I mean, I'll give Burnham is still but Lower Decks, I don't think they miscast a single character. They all own that role pretty well. And it's like I can literally picture Jack Quaid losing his collective shit like Boimler in live action if it ever came to that, or Jerry O'Connell going on a power trip. I mean, I could totally picture both of them doing that. So I will give Lower Decks the nod of perfectly casting each voice role for that show.
Well, if you watch The Boys, you'll totally see.
Oh no,
Boimler.
I know.
Totally
Jack Quaid does great, but it's like to see him freak out like Boimler on a starship, that'd be even better.
And side notes, DC or HBO Max is releasing a new Superman series and Batman series by J.J. Abrams, where Jack Quaid is playing Clark Kent.
What?
Jack Quaid is playing Clark Kent.
Oh dear.
Quaid, start the reactor with your laser eyes, Quaid.
I'm assuming animated though, right?
Yes.
Oh, so Quaid's gonna he's gonna go from Starfleet to Krypton.
And J.J. Abrams is producing a Batman series.
Oh, God help us all. It's gonna be lens flares everywhere. Oh, Batman's gonna be blinding light.
It's literally just a repeat of Batman Forever.
Oh God!
No. Hey, can I just ask you something? Is he going to actually make a coherent fucking timeline this time around, or
we'll see?
Not going to do that.
We'll see. All right, Travis, let's hear from you.
All right, so everybody's been talking about the story and everything. I liked the story, but I'm going to talk about some other things here. First thing I'm going to talk about is that from season 1 to this season, I can tell like there is a notable bump in quality in terms of the animation. This show looks phenomenal right now. And I mean, it looked great last year. I thought that they really hammered the aesthetic of the Next Generation to a T. And I thought that like it didn't look like overly like exaggerated in terms of animated mediums like certain shows like the Adventure Time or Rick and Morty. But like turning the episode on, seeing how they were presenting lighting and like even just like the like space, the colors and the color schemes and how it all meshed and blended together, like the show looks absolutely gorgeous. And I have no idea if that's because like the production maybe had a bit more leniency in terms of the pandemic going on right now, or if it was just an increase in budget or whatnot, but looks beautiful. And the theme sounds wonderful. Like it sounds like they redid the theme. It sounds beautiful. I absolutely love how they kind of updated the theme to include the Pakled battleships in that Borg / Romulan battle. When the
they did. I was going to mention that, Travis.
What?
We did update the theme. You was right about that. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, they did update it because I noticed that first off that they it's just a little bit different. It's really close. They just changed the hit points on it here and there. But yeah, I like it.
Theme. It's just like it seems like the it's more orchestral, I guess, rather than like not as like I don't know what the word is, but
it's an actual orchestra.
It does sound absolutely lovely. And I will go ahead and also say these two things. I will say that this episode worked without Boimler. I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing Boimler on the Titan more. This was not a Boimler story, and I feel like he had his moment at the end, and it was the perfect amount of time that was needed. We will see Boimler next week, I'm sure, and I'm also looking forward to seeing his time on the Titan. I relate a lot to Boimler in some ways, and just like I guess I'm just one of those people where it's like, you know what? Good things are worth waiting for. I will also say, I wrote out an entire analysis earlier this year on Beckett Mariner, and I fully believe that she belongs in Starfleet. I mean, yes, she is not one for protocol, but she does have her heart in the right place. And I've talked about this earlier this year. She is not breaking the rules to spite Starfleet. She is breaking the rules to help people because she wants to be she wants Starfleet to be better. The very first episode we see her in, she sneaks farm equipment out to some farmers because she doesn't want them to starve. She doesn't want Starfleet bureaucracy to to make their lives harder. They are a member of the Federation. They deserve Federation help. That is how she sees it. And yes, she doesn't always make the right decision in terms of Starfleet protocol. She has violated the Prime Directive before. And, sometimes that can lead to very bad things happening. But she has never done this to spite Starfleet. And I feel like that is something that needs to be understood. Because, again, she loves her job. She loves being in Starfleet. She loves exploring the unknown. She loves solving space mysteries and kicking asses. She's good at it. And I really love the fact that she is willing to, sorry, a bit of a brain blank there. She is willing to, bend the rules. She is willing to make choices that, more protocol officers like Boimler or people on the Next Generation wouldn't normally make.
I think it's a waste of her skills if they took her out of Starfleet. She's talented. She's got a lot of skills. And I think, regardless, they've made it pretty clear, even from where I've watched in Next Generation, that protocol is there for a reason. But at the same time, there are situations that are going to need someone to step outside those lines, and someone's got to do it.
And we saw the benefits of that in the season finale of last season.
Yeah.
Yep.
They wouldn't have been able to fight off the Packlids without her.
Yeah. And in terms of what I'm hoping to see moving forward this season, they have said that they want to try, one of the shortcomings of last season was that when it came to Tendi and Rutherford, they were very much B characters. They are main characters in the show, but they didn't really have some very significant episodes. And they did say that they want to try and rectify that this season. So I am hoping to see some episodes where they are more the central focus and where they will have more of an impact, where Mariner and Boimler had last season. I'm not saying that they should be there all the time. I understand that some stories will obviously focus more on certain characters, but it would be awesome to see, Tendi and Rutherford have some more centric episodes rather than just Rutherford trying new positions on the ship and before going back to engineering. Tendi needs to have another Veritas episode, basically. Because Veritas was probably her most significant episode last season, where she was involved with the recovery of the package and she was absolutely brilliant. She needs, like, both Tendi and Rutherford just need just more central episodes like that, and I'm hoping to see that moving forward. I'm hoping we see Badgie, and I'm hoping we see Citation Ops, and I'm
Fucking love
hoping
Badgie.
like I'm very much looking forward to this season. I have said before that it is probably my second favorite Star Trek show to date right now, and that holds true. This season premiere was just as fun as I was wanting it to be, and next Thursday can't get here soon enough.
Travis, there's one thing. You said you see yourself as Blamer. I really see you more as a Rutherford. You're in his personality match much more than yours and Blamer's.
I don't know about
You're
that.
more the okie dokie type rather than the screamy, oh my god, we're gonna die.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not as neurotic as Blamer.
I don't see you screaming going, oh my god, I'm going to die, or what the hell is this, or anything like that. I see you more like, okie dokie, let's do this.
Yeah, Travis, you actually do seem more like a Rutherford.
I mean, you don't like pears,
All right.
so we couldn't. You wouldn't be in danger of that.
Pears are
Yeah,
fucking disgusting. People are menaces.
All right.
Pears.
What are your thoughts?
Who?
Who?
Son.
You froze.
You froze.
Oh, shit.
I didn't watch the episode.
Okay,
But
but you heard all of us
I'm
talking
gonna-
about it.
From the standpoint of all of this, it sounds like it was a really crazy first episode for the second season. Just like all over the fucking place. Just everywhere. And I mean, that's just more of the same when it comes to Rick and Morty to me. It's like, yeah, okay.
All right.
Anyway, I'm not feeling well anymore, guys, so I'm gonna bow out.
Okay, yeah. Go get some
Yeah,
rest.
go. Good
Nice
rest.
It was
Hope you
nice
feel
to
better.
be here. I still have the Acti list. I updated it for this week. I'll keep an eye on it for next week, and hopefully I will continue
Feeling better.
talking about it. See you guys.
See you later,
Feel
son.
better, son.
Rest well.
Thank you.
Well,
And remember, you were all loved and appreciated by just your being you.
Amen.
All right. Well, thank you guys for the discussion on the first episode of the second season of Star Trek Lower Decks. And now it is time to bring this episode to a close with our final segment. What are we watching? And Raina, I believe you have something to say about that.
Yes, I am
Oh,
done
no.
with the first 3 seasons of TNG. And I loved every damn second of it, except Justice and a few other things. But
Nobody likes Justice.
my big mistake, why my brain is not working tonight, why I sound stupid in a lot of these segments, is the best of both worlds fucking broke me. Part 1 just broke me mentally.
Yes.
And
why didn't you warn her, Travis?
like, no, Travis was actually like, no, wait for it, because I was like, I paused him like, Picard's a fucking Borg. He's a fucking Borg. And Travis is like, no, wait for it. And then I was like, I was listening. When Riker said fire, I was like, no! I was like,
You're
screaming
sexy,
at my
man.
screen. You bearded fool! Like, I was just losing my mind. And
And then it cuts to black.
like, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I don't think I've said this, but a large part originally of me getting into Star Trek was not only because you guys are really excited about it, but I thought, I'm going to be on the show. I'm going to take it seriously. But I have fallen like fucking in love with this show. I'm just absolutely in awe by some of these episodes. Like, at first I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a dated mess, but it really isn't, like, at all. Like, it's so good. In fact, like, I got my favorite and worst episodes from the first 3 seasons that I watched. I'd have to say that the top 2 from season 1, at least for me, is the battle and where no one has gone before. Those 2 episodes really kind of stuck with me a little bit. The battle especially just really, really spoke to me. Of course, the worst for that season is Justice and Code of Honor. Holy shit! I don't want to go through those episodes again. I didn't like Yar at the time. I will say of Code of Honor. I did not fucking like her, so it made that episode worse. Season 2, my standout. It's a complete tie between A Matter of Honor and The Measure of a Man. Like, I can't choose between these two episodes. I've thought about it to death, and there's just no way for me to pick either one of those episodes as better. Of course, the worst is the Royale and Shades of Grey are just fucking terrible. I
warned you about Shades of Grey.
I don't. Greg, it's the first time. Like, you and me disagree about everything. I should have fucking listened to you. It is god awful, and I never want to see it again.
It's a fucking clip show.
I hate
exactly.
it. Like, and I hate to say it, but Shades of Grey is so bad. I'd rather go back and watch the Royale again. I do not like. At least the Royale had a couple moments where I was like, that's stupid.
It had a story. It was bad, but it had a story.
I don't even know what Shades of Grey was supposed. They originally had something else planned out for the season finale, but something happened. It would just turn into that shit show.
Season 3 was interesting for me because the obvious standouts, like Yesterday's Enterprise and of course, Save the Best for just the best of both worlds. Obviously, steal the show, but goddamn, there was a lot of good standouts like Booby Trap. The Defector really was one of my favorite ones, that I love that episode so much. The whole season's good. Only episode I did not like is Menage a Trois. Fuck that episode.
That one's pretty
it's
cringe.
Terrible. And
it was good.
It's the only episode.
Of course, Greg would like it.
Of course, it's the only episode of the season where I'm like, why? Why was this written?
Oh, there's more of those.
What was its purpose? And
I think that was a fan episode too.
But I gotta say, guys, that this show so far, I'm so excited to go through the rest of these shows. I really am. That finale, especially. I feel bad for those who had to fucking wait a whole summer to see how that fucking play. I feel bad for you people because there's no way. After this show ends, I might go fucking watch the. I gotta know what happens.
What do you think of Shelby?
Who? Oh,
Shelby.
Commander Shelby.
Okay, so Commander Shelby, this is the thing. It's hard because I really like Riker. I am a thirsty woman for Riker. So anytime she oversteps, I'm like, the nerve of this bitch. But it's but I really get her. I kind of get her position, and she's kind of in a fucking tough job. I mean, being the Borg specialist is kind of and they're terrifying.
No, not yet. Not yet.
I need to say, and I told Travis this. I was because I thought I've always seen the memes of the Borg, so I thought, oh, they look stupid. They look comically aged, but when I'm watching them, they're fucking terrifying. Even
whenever they first got
hailing
introduced.
call to Picard, that voice had me oh god, I fucking hate this. They're so eerie. The way they walk, the way they interact, just
the way Picard says number one.
Dude,
that was
even their ship is just unnerving in the inside. It is something straight out of it kind of reminds me of the derelict Reaper in Mass Effect 2. It's just fucking eerie, and there's no sound. It's just there. It's just awful.
Kind of H.R. Geiger, huh?
Yeah, dude, this that ship. I don't know what it is. I'm not afraid of shit, but the Borg give me every time I see them, man, I get a shiver. I'm I fucking hate these guys so much. When the first one is just on the ship, just casually ignoring everyone, just scanning the Enterprise, fuck these guys, they're irrelevant. Just the eerie stare at the screen. I'm oh my god, this is some Blair Witch shit where they're just staring at the fucking wall. It's terrifying. I don't know what it is, but I will say, my first dive into Star Trek, I am invested. And I will say, just from what I've seen so far, I don't even think I've ever been this interested in Star Wars. And that's what I was kind of raised on. I will say that back then, people used to treat it as like you're one or the other, but they are so vastly different. They are so vastly different as things, and oh my god! Like,
well, just wait until you get to this episode, Raina.
I know,
stop it! Stop it!
Like,
too
look,
soon.
Look,
She needs
I
to
know
go
we're
into
all
that fresh.
I know we're all talk like. I know you guys are throwing around the Sub Rosa jokes and everything, but I talked about that episode at camp. I very much was like, there is one really bad episode towards the end of the show, and I did talk about Sub Rosa, so whatever. Like, I didn't care. Like, I might as well warn her about the really bad ones. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, this one kind of.
But here's the thing, though. Like, even though like I've seen some like a few bad episodes, like I don't regret them though, in a sense. Like, I kind of like, even look at this, like Code of Honor, right? You have a Yar episode, right? And I don't like Yar at the time. But when you see yesterday's Enterprise, like, I developed a whole new respect for her character.
Mm-hmm.
She went out like a fucking boss. And I just really just like how they have these redeeming factors where it's like, I see her as a whole different character. That's not who she was in season 1, and I like that. And just like big moments, like I was actually getting teary-eyed. Just imagine being told you died and it had no fucking meaning. Like that, to live with that existence, to know that you not only, one, you're not supposed to exist, but two, that it meant nothing that you weren't there. You added nothing to the equation. Like that to me was just, I felt that. I felt the sting, and I love all the holodeck episodes. Like, I have grown addicted to that. I love, like, anytime they're like, we're going to the holodeck, I'm like losing my mind. I'm like, yes, what crazy shit are they gonna? And also, I have a soft spot for Q. Anytime he shows up, I start giggling so much. He's wonderful. He is the Loki of this damn universe, and I love him. Except when he showed up.
Not a spoiler, but Denise Crosby does come back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The actress, not the character.
I would say that's a bit
intrigued.
of a spoiler, but
that was a bit of a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. Doesn't say a thing about how or why.
But
like, there's a reason. Like, just in saying, like, why didn't I warn her? Like, this is the reason I didn't warn her. This is the reason I am hell bent on saying, like, guys, don't fucking say anything. Like,
I want her to experience this fresh.
This is the thing. Like, Ross didn't say where it's at, so when it does come, it's still going to be. Yeah. Like, the thing is I, like, coming into this blind, I will say that there is a little bit of excitement for me because I didn't know fuck all about Star Trek, but it's like now, like, every new episode is some amazing new journey I'm taking, and I fucking love it, and I'm going to be in it for the long run. I know that now. Like, I was kind of, like I told you guys, I was like, okay, my friends are doing it, so I'll do it. Like, the worst kind of peer pressure on this podcast ever. But
rather you watch TV than drink alcohol.
Like I even told Travis, like, after season 1, I'm like, fuck, I'm winded. I don't know if I can do season 2. And he's like, just do season 2. I saw Riker's beard, and I knew exactly I was in the right place and that I wasn't going anywhere.
Raina, half the shows that I watch are because of these people. So yes, it is very much an addiction.
But
I'm watching Lower Decks for this podcast.
But you guys, like, I hope you understand, like, that this is significant for me. Like, this is like something that was just kind of starting out as a project has become something very personal to me. I'm very excited about it, and I'm literally just can't wait to go through every series and every movie and just really dive deep. Like, this show has just brought me in.
All right. Well, I'm very glad that you are going on this journey and that you're sharing your experience with us. Getting a new perspective on a show that all of us here have seen countless times is a genuine gift. So thank you for sharing with us. We're excited to hear more as you make your way through the original 700 hours.
Well, I will say that I actually stream pretty fast, like because now I'm getting a little more time at work and things. Like I've been streaming on the road when I go on long road trips and whatnot, and just everywhere I go, I've had TNG with me like everywhere I've gone for like the last 4 days straight. So I will say my goal, and I'm going to tell you this right now, my goal is to at least complete one season per podcast. Like by the time I get to each podcast, I'm going to have another season done. That is my fucking goal. And with TNG, it's going to be really fucking easy to do that.
Yes, she is, Jay.
Yeah, I don't see why not. You can do it.
Yeah.
I got her.
All right.
Dude, just ignore the last
you, Raina.
episode of
No
Enterprise.
more fucking shades of gray, though, Royale. I'm serious. There better not be anything that bad.
Fortunately, it never gets that bad.
Oh,
Thank God.
No,
God bless
In
you,
any
Ross.
of the start, well, except maybe one or two
Sub
in
Rosa.
Voyager.
Sub Rosa's about
Sub Rosa is not that bad.
Oh, it's
Sub
bad.
Rosa is at least
Man, that
coherent.
episode kind of broke me.
Brenda has a good one.
Okay, I'm just gonna say if Travis said, "Okay, that episode broke me," I'm just gonna say it's a shitty episode because
Look,
Travis can find good in any
if I
bad
remember
episode.
correctly, I did a worst episode countdown in like 2018,
Ooh.
and I believe it is my most controversial list to date. But I believe I ranked Sub Rosa at number 5, if I remember correctly.
Hey, wait, here's a good one. Who all has Amazon Prime in this good group? Because that's not a bad idea.
Oh.
Watch Sub Rosa with Raina.
All right, let's get this rolling. It's getting late.
Yes.
Thank you again, Raina. Looking forward to hearing more. Justin, what have you watched this week?
Well, as I was starting on the Transformers, I decided to give the Voltron animated series a go on Netflix, and it quickly became a new addiction, and I put the Transformers on the back burner to binge the hell out of Voltron. I'm currently up on season 7, and it's a pretty good take on the series as a whole. It's a fun little campy show. Other than that, yeah, I haven't really been streaming this week. I'm kind of taking the week off to recharge after going 3 weeks straight without a day off. Yeah, it's been, that's been pretty much it.
All right, thank you, Justin. Travis and Lane, what have you been watching this week?
Disney Roulette.
Not a whole lot, honestly. Disney Roulette will return tomorrow. I'm still kind of unwinding from vacation. I was hoping to get a surprise round of roulette in last week before we went for Nebraska, but I mean, it just didn't happen, sadly. And so we will be resuming our good, bad trips through Disney's repertoire tomorrow, hopefully. Other than that, I've just been kind of putting some underrated Star Trek episodes on as background noise for the most part as I prepare for September's countdown. And
I'm available for that, by the way, Travis. I got you.
And I've actually been brainstorming some writing ideas. So yeah, I haven't really been watching too much this week, so I'll have more to say next week.
All right. Thank you, Travis. Greg, what have you been watching this week?
Besides Lower Decks, What If, Bad Batch, I started watching the series on Netflix, The Movies That Made Us, and I have watched the ones for Jurassic Park, Forrest Gump, and Back to the Future, and those were very insightful. I absolutely loved it. Jurassic Park, everything they said in Jurassic Park, I already knew. Like, Jurassic Park's my all-time favorite movie. I knew that one backward and forward. But the ones with Forrest Gump and Back to the Future was really, it got intense. Like, I'm like, wow, I knew Michael J. Fox replaced Eric Stoltz, but man, talk about going basically halfway into shooting, like, hey, we're doing a new actor. So these shows did a really good job of going way, way deep into the mythology of the movies, how long it actually took Forrest Gump to get made, how hard it was to get Back to the Future made. And the titles,
the Dirty Dancing one, and it is fantastic.
The titles these movies almost had,
they're fucking terrible.
Ghost Breakers and the Man from Pluto. I was like, oh god.
Did you know, Greg, that Star Trek had something similar like that with Voyager shot its pilot episode with a completely different captain that was not Kate Munger.
Oh no, yeah, no, I know that one. That they did a whole episode with the original Captain Janeway. But yeah, no, I love it. So I recommend it. The Movies That Made Us, definitely recommend for anybody looking for that. Other than that, I've just been watching with my fiance, watching the new Charmed. I must say it pales in comparison to the original. I love the original Charmed. The new one is just like, yeah.
Yeah, I tried that too. It's just,
yeah.
Shit.
But other than that, yeah. Here I am with you guys reviewing Lower Decks next week.
Alrighty, thank you, Greg. As for me, started out getting caught up on Castlevania. Love the show is amazing so far. Started season 2, working my way through it, but also
that's a funny way to say Lucifer.
Yeah, I was going to
working our way through that too. But in addition to that, hydrate.
Castlevania is fucking awesome on Netflix. Like that is such a well done show. Holy crap.
And I'll talk more about that once I finish it. But that also led me to a YouTube series called One Villainous Scene. And it's not a series done by a single creator. It's a theme that's picked up by other creators and compiled into a playlist. There are about half a dozen in there so far, but they all talk about the characterizations of villains as they are presented in a single scene or throughout the series as a whole. In the case of Castlevania, it was the "you must be the Belmont" scene in Castlevania. But also, the most fascinating one to me was a characterization of Agent Smith during Morpheus's interrogation in The Matrix. I've also seen one on Darth Vader. I'm looking for one on the Baron Harkonnen right now. It's a really fascinating study of characterization when you're looking at villains, because you can have a great hero, but if you don't have a good villain to count to for them to go up against, they fall flat. And that I've always loved bad guys for that reason. And it's so much fun to listen to these analysis. I recommend check it out.
You know what?
Alrighty.
You can get such a deeper appreciation for villains that way. I have found a few villains that like were kind of questionable to me, but when you really deep dive into their characters, they become something more.
Dracula, especially because the way he's presented, yes, he is the personification of all evil in the world, but for a brief time, he had a capacity for love, compassion, and so much more until his wife was brutally murdered by the church and he decided humanity was no longer fit to exist.
But you know, Ross, with
that
Dracula,
escalated quickly.
But you know, with Dracula, the thirst always wins.
Well, and then you had the ideological counterpoint between him and Alucard, his son, and that the way he's presented throughout the series. In the first season, you see that encounter. You see this huge, intimidating, menacing force of evil be melted by this insistent human. And then she's killed, and it's, okay, you're all dead. All of you. Yeah. And the sympathetic presentation throughout all of it until the very end when it's time for him to die. I'm having so much fun with this. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for sharing. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Son, if you're still watching, I hope you rest and feel better. And that will wrap it up for the Super Geeks. With Sun gone, I don't think we're gonna have much for Florida Man this week because So unfortunately, no Florida Man post show this week. Come back next week for more, and also keep an eye out for our social media. Raina and I, and possibly a couple others, are talking about some potential sideshows. We want to expand the Super Geeks into other things, build up my own channel, Live, Love, Play through that as well as all of our other
platforms.
Do I think that freedom should be legalized?
What?
Comment on my Twitch channel.
What?
Freedom isn't illegal.
Anyway, what was Travis going to say?
Yeah, Travis, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, before we wrap up, I just got some news. One of my fellow admins on the Star Trek Facebook group, his mother, unfortunately, has just passed away.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to say his name.
That's fine.
Because I don't know if he wants it public or not yet, but just want to know if he's watching. My deepest condolences. And our hearts and love go out to you in this time. I know it's been a rough period for him lately, so I only hope it goes up from here, man. Take your time, and yeah, much love to you.
I think I know exactly. I'll reach out to him.
All right, guys. Thank you all for joining me once again. For those of you who are still with us, still watching, please be sure to like, rate, upvote, whatever the engagement buttons are. Subscribe to whatever channel you're watching on. Share with your friends and comment and continue this conversation, because we want to hear about you. We want to hear what you think on the stuff that we're talking. We want to hear what you like and what you geek out about. And of course, you should follow each and every one of our hosts here. Justin, where can everyone find you?
Twitch TV, Commander Stepper, also part of the Live, Love, Play network.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/RainaWolf. And
Travis
I want to be
Lane.
part of your channel.
You can find me sitting on a mountainside, watching the stars, wondering, if I were to fly up, would it get too cold?
Okay, Uncle Eero. And Greg, where can everyone find you?
Iro.
Twitch.tv/Mongoose Gaming 88 or YouTube with Mongoose Gaming Burrow.
And if you're watching us on Twitch, you're already in the right place. Twitch.tv/live_love_play. Thank you all for watching once again. Remember to live, to love, and to play a little bit every day. Justin, play us out.